Canes playbook again? You want to talk to Riley Leonard? You want to maybe get yourself in football shape? Maybe throw to the guys during a certain portion of the week? I mean, do we see him under center for the Colts? Does he actually have the ability to come off the couch, come out of his home in Alabama, and play football in December? And you look at their schedule, too. I mean, these are games that they are already going to have their hands full.
It's the Adam Gold Show. How is everybody? I am Adam Gold. Fueled by Celsius today. Max Gorin sitting in for Victoria. She's taking her normal Wednesday doctor's day off. She's not going to the doctor. It's just traditionally doctors seem to take Wednesdays off. I don't know. Is that still a thing? They're playing golf at the club, although not right now. It's flipping cold. Anyway, we had a hockey game last night. We're going to talk about that. That was Rich Eisen on the return of Phillip Rivers, who has not played in the NFL in 4 full seasons. Now, obviously, almost 5. I can't do the math. It's over 1,400 days since he last played in the NFL. It was the pandemic year.
It was like January 5th of 2021 or something.
He played the last game of the season.
He threw for like 300 yards and 2 touchdowns in that game, too.
Dude's a Hall of Famer. Those of us, I know we're biased here because we saw him play his entire career at NC State. And he was a great quarterback. He was a great NFL quarterback. Wasn't just a great college quarterback. This is all part of the debate and how we view quarterbacks. We're getting very serious right away, Max. That's not allowed. But indulge me this, and I want your part of this. When I ask you who's the greatest quarterback of all time, your answer is
Tom Brady.
All right, why?
Because he played for what, like 15, 20 years and won 7 Super Bowls?
7 Super Bowls. That's the answer. That's why he's the greatest of all time. Who's the best basketball player of all time?
LeBron James.
Ooh, spicy. You and me both, by the way.
I mean, what? He's 40 years old. He's still doing it now.
Right, still. But for the majority of people, they say Jordan, right?
I'm fine with either way.
But we say Brady based on Super Bowl titles. We should say if that's our judgment, then that's fine. If that's how you judge who the best quarterback is.
Yeah, but then we would be saying Bill Russell.
Thank you. We decide what is important. In my opinion, there's no doubt that Tom Brady is one of the greatest, not just quarterbacks, one of the greatest football players of all time. Personally, I think Dan Marino is the best quarterback that's ever played. He won no Super Bowls. Nobody has thrown the ball more accurately, had the quicker release than Dan Marino. And I grew up a Jets fan, and I have every reason to hate Mr. Isotoner. With the fake spike touchdown pass, and you hated that guy. I personally but now we're talking about somebody who just threw the football. The greatest thrower of the football of all time. Joe Montana, for me, is better than Brady. It ain't Joe's fault that a Hall of Famer was backing him up and they pushed him out the door. And he had about 9 concussions. He got broken a lot while he was playing with the 49ers. They had Steve Young backing him up. Of course they were going to get rid of Joe Montana. He had Steve Young. He's going to the Hall of Fame. Younger, different type of quarterback, but we're talking about a Hall of Fame quarterback. Rivers was better than Eli Manning. There's no way you could look at the two quarterbacks and how they played and not say Rivers is better than Eli Manning. I think Ben Roethlisberger was better than Eli Manning too. But I think Rivers was better than both of them.
It's difficult in a team sport like football, especially when all the positions are so like differently specialized. Like how much the team's success plays into the legacy versus individual.
Right.
Because obviously quarterbacks can affect a lot, but like it's hard when your supporting cast isn't good. Like we're seeing, just to tie it into the team that we cover in the Carolina Panthers. Like, would any quarterback have been successful? Would prime Tom Brady have been successful in 2023 with the Panthers? When his receiving core was DJ Chark and Adam Thielen and Laviska Shenault and and that offensive line that was in front of him. Like,
go back to Brady's last year in New England. They weren't successful. I mean, they won. I mean, the division was bad, so they were going to win. And they took advantage of a bad division for a lot of, maybe most of Tom Brady's career. I didn't really mean to start the show with any sort of serious quarterback debate, and people are getting angry in their cars, and I apologize for that. No, I don't. But yes, it's a total team situation. You know what the greatest example is? Matthew Stafford left Detroit, went to Los Angeles, won a Super Bowl. He's the same quarterback today that he was with Detroit in the first part of his career. He is elite. I mean, he is going to win the MVP this year, and I am here for it. In Detroit, when they didn't have a great team around him, he put up super numbers, and they never won. Then he gets to the Rams with superior coaching and better players. Look at that. I guess you can win a Super Bowl with Matthew Stafford. So, yeah, we give way too much credit to the quarterback for your Super Bowls, for your titles. Way too much credit to the quarterback. That's not to say that they're not important or like a lion's share of the reason why you win. I mean, I would argue that Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes, what they've done, that's kind of maybe all about them. So, Aaron Rodgers is one of the greatest quarterbacks we've ever seen. I would argue that nobody's ever played the position better when Rodgers was at his best. He won one Super Bowl. They didn't have great coaching. He certainly had good players around him, but they didn't have great coaching. They had average coaching. Mike McCarthy did win a Super Bowl, but, I mean, he had probably the best quarterback clay that we've ever seen. It's a shame that Aaron Rodgers has lost his mind, although he showed a little flash of the old Aaron Rodgers against the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yeah, the return of the discount double check.
I saw that. It was so great. Brooke Pryor covers the Steelers, actually going to join us. We'll talk about that. We'll see if she went, oh, my gosh, look at that, a throwback. A little throwback to Aaron Rodgers. We got a lot of stuff to talk about. So we've already talked about some stuff, although we're going to get into Phillip Rivers in a little bit. But we're going to start local.
Let's get it started. Let's get it started in here. Let's get it started.
So,
let's get it started.
Hurricanes beat the Columbus Blue Jackets 4-1 last night, and you go, well, it's Columbus. Supposed to beat Columbus. Yeah, you are. You're also supposed to beat San Jose. You're probably not supposed to need overtime to beat Calgary. Such is the National Hockey League, where everybody's got good players. And if you don't show up, if you don't invest in each game, you are running the risk of losing. You leave it up to chance. And last night, for about 30 minutes, the Carolina Hurricanes were not that great, putting it mildly. They were trailing the Blue Jackets 1-0, and the 2006 Stanley Cup champions were in the house again.
Yeah, and it was another slow start, and it was a little dead in the building, even though with the anniversary celebration. I get it's a Tuesday night, and you're playing the Columbus Blue Jackets, which is never going to be the biggest draw.
Which is why they did the honoring of the 2006 team on a Tuesday.
So people got in their feels about that instead of getting hyped for the game, because it was a little quiet at first, but eventually they got it going later on in the game.
Is it fair to say that I've been a little disappointed in the crowd at Lenovo Center?
I think it's fair. I mean, especially some of these weeknights games, it hasn't been quite as packed out, and the energy hasn't really hit as much. I mean, Saturday night was great, but it's a Saturday, and they jumped on them immediately and put 20 shots on them.
They were dominant over Nashville.
I think whenever they finish that upper bowl and all the renovations, and it kind of starts to feel like it's actually completely full versus like part of it's cordoned off, I think that's going to help a little bit.
I'd be interested to see what I haven't looked what the attendance was last night. There were a lot of empty seats.
My guess is it was listed as 18 and $2.99.
Oh, sure. I'm sure it was, but it was not. And it was disappointing last night. But midway through the game, Andrei Svechnikov turned it around. And for my money, the man who did not get a star in the building, who had 2 assists last night, was the best player. And that's Andrei. And Rod Brindamore, your head coach, who had a lot of things to do, talked about Svechnikov's performance.
He had a great game, and you're right. I thought he had maybe 2 or 3 other ones where he missed the net, over the net, and then that one, obviously, he doesn't get the goal, but he's the reason we got it. He makes a great read. We talked about the rotation, and then he rips it. You're not looking for another pass. So that's obviously the big goal in the game.
Yeah, that was the goal that made it 3-1. The big goal of the game, though, was the goal that tied it. And that was, even though it was a Jarvis goal, and he's got 17 in 29 games. It's pretty good. Do that math. We're talking about 45 goals pace right now for Seth Jarvis. Maybe 46 goal. I'm just kind of like
48 goals.
48 goal
and
pace.
A full 82-game season.
That's good, right? But that entire play is made by Andrei. Andrei is the one who goes into the corner and digs the puck out. Andrei is the one who makes the decision to not try and stuff it because he comes around behind the net. You could see he's thinking about it, and then he goes, you know what, I don't have that. Smart play, and he sees Jarvis in the high slot, and perfect pass. Jarvis doesn't waste any time. He didn't get a ton of it, but he put it in the right spot, and there was a lot of traffic in front. Sebastian Aho getting credit for that. I thought he played a good game without necessarily, he didn't get on the score sheet. I thought Sebastian has played a couple of good games in a row without adding to his point total, although he might have gotten an assist the other night. But Andrei, to me, was the difference in the game. Then we get to the goal that Rod Brindamore was talking about there. Jordan Staal on the power play. So think about this. A couple of games ago, they decided to experiment with Staal taking the face-off on the power play, the initial face-off, and as long as Carolina kept the puck in the zone, he would stay on the ice. And don't you know, that's what happened. He wins the draw. They pass it around. Andrei comes out with the puck, and Staal's in front. And boom, here's Rod on Staal's power play success.
There's some skill set that he brings to that, and it's pretty clear what he does, and that's what power plays need, right? Every power play starts with a face-off. Every one that I've ever been around, So, okay, but he's our best one, and obviously you need traffic, and he's our best one. He's our biggest dude. So those two things are usually what you talk about on power plays. So, he's obviously done it great for a couple games here.
Yeah. Hurricanes have scored a power play goal in 3 straight. They are 4 for their last 13 with the man advantage. Staal with 2 consecutive power play goals or two consecutive games with a power play goal is now tied for second on the team in power play goals. It's been on the power play like 3 minutes. Come on, making a mockery of it. But here's the deal. It does make sense. And when you're not winning faceoffs, and Sebastian Aho has been bad on power play faceoffs, Staal right now is, I think, 3rd in the NHL. And he's only been on the power play for like 4 games. But it's important. And last night, they won all the power play faceoffs. Aho won some, but Staal won them. I think Stankoven might have lost one later in the game. Anyway, that is a key. And the other key is Brandon Bussey. First goal was not on him at all. The only goal was not on him at all. That was a power play goal and a great pass from Sean Monahan to Dmitry Voronkov. But Bussey had to make a bunch of really good saves to keep it 1-0. Got Adam Fantilli 2 or 3 times. He got Zach Werenski early. He got, who was it? Chinnikov, right? Chinnikov late in the first period. He made probably 3 or 4 really good saves to keep that game 1-0. And here's Rod on his goaltender.
Well, I mean, he's had a good start to it. I mean, it's, 10, 11, 12 starts? Like, yeah, that's good, but I mean, that's a small sample size. He's just, what I think we all like about him is just very calm, and he puts the work in, and nothing seems to faze him. And, you know, he'll have bumps in the road, you know, they're going to come, but hopefully not anytime soon.
So it's been 10 starts. He's 9-1. He's got a .909 save percentage, which is .017 above league average. And he has a .209 goals against average. Is it a small sample size? Yeah, it's a small sample size to assign grander meaning than he's probably Carolina's best goalie right now. We don't. That's not looking into the future. That's just like here we are, and Brandon Bussey is Carolina's best goalie. Has a very good chance to start tomorrow in Washington in a huge game. I think it'll be either him or Pyotr Kochetkov. And let's be honest, if it is not Freddie Anderson tomorrow, I mean, we'll probably see Anderson at some point soon, but it is telling us something if it's not Anderson tomorrow.
I feel like he'll probably play one of these games in the back-to-back on the weekend.
Yeah, because there's a high concentration of games, and you're not so concerned about somebody getting rusty, right? But if, Bussey plays, if Kochetkov plays tomorrow, Bussey's got to play one of the games against Philly, right? You probably maybe use Freddie in one of them, but Bussey's got to play one of the games against Philly because Tuesday, if you don't play him against Philly, then you're talking about Nashville. Like, it's hard to play 3 goalies. A little bit easier with the higher concentration of the schedule. There are, in the next 7 games, Carolina's got 2 back-to-backs. Philly on the weekend, this weekend coming up, in Philly on Saturday, home against Philly, and then at Florida and at Tampa Bay, back-to-back. Like it's Friday, Saturday next week. Friday, Saturday, Friday in Florida, Saturday in Tampa. So we got 7 games between now and the 23rd of December. What is today's date? Today's the 10th. Tomorrow, the 11th. So between the 11th and the 13th, in those 13 days, Carolina will play 7 times. A little easier to use 3, but somebody is only getting cameos. And I think that player is going to be Frederik Andersen. And at some point, those cameos go away if you don't play well. Because it's too tight. You can't be giving away points. All right, let's get back to Phillip Rivers, because I also want to talk about the Panthers here. So we heard Rich Eisen in the opening talking about it makes sense to bring in Phillip Rivers. I question that, but let's set that aside for a second. Here's Jeff Saturday, a Colts legend, Carolina guy as well, on his view of this decision.
This is no disrespect to Phil, but that Seattle defense ain't no joke. And not having any timing with any receiver, the NFL doesn't just pop off like that quite often. Now, can he go in and battle and do some things above the neck? I think he's 100% ready to rock and roll. That body at 44 is a little different. Them men over there trying to go hurt you, I worry about. I'm not even being funny. I'm like, man, this could get you to, don't throw a Nolan Ryan back there on the left side, because my man, you get freaking broke down. And so hopefully it is an emergency situation and Phil doesn't have to go in and can just kind of help use his knowledge to help these young guys get ready. But the Colts are in trouble, and they understand it, and they're grasping at all straws. I don't blame them a bit.
Okay. I don't really get it. I don't get it from either standpoint. A guy who has not played in 5 years now, if Riley Leonard were completely healthy, I don't think the Colts would be going down this road. But there has to be a better option than somebody who has not thrown a pass in 5 years. We are literally a month away from the 5-year anniversary of his last forward pass. It's the silliest idea. Now, I say this, watch Rivers go out and have to play and ball out. Here's the other part.
I could see it being like a Joe Flacco type of thing where he
is
able to come in and have instant success. But I could also see it not working out at all.
Flacco had only missed at best like not even a full season. Right? He's basically played at least a few games basically every year. And Flacco hadn't really been good. Like if Phillip Rivers is like Flacco's had like 3 good games in the last 4 years. I mean, legitimately good games. If Rivers comes in and plays at a Joe Flacco level, the Colts aren't winning any games. Their schedule remaining is too difficult. They're not winning any games with Phillip Rivers playing Joe Flacco level. Anyway, it is a desperate decision. Chris Canty on the Hall of Fame element of this.
Couldn't help but go to the place when I heard the news of this potentially being a billboard for Phillip Rivers' Hall of Fame case. If he steps in and somehow miraculously gets the Indianapolis Colts to the playoffs, does that bolster his argument to get into the Hall of Fame? Because he is the definition of a fringe Hall of Famer. When you look at the numbers, when you look at the postseason success or lack thereof, there are a lot of question marks about the greatness of Phillip Rivers. If he can step in with his organization off the couch and save the day in what is the most bizarre of circumstances, then I absolutely think this does something to move the needle in terms of making sure that he can get in the Canton.
All right. He's 7th all-time in passing yards. What are we doing about fringe Hall of Famer here? I would wonder what Chris Canty thinks of Eli Manning. By the way, do you know how many? Manning has 2 Super Bowls. Do you know how many years Manning won a playoff game in his career?
Maybe like 3.
2.
Oh, just the 2 Super Bowl runs?
Exactly.
He's like well, I guess it's not the same. I was going to say like the Alex Ovechkin of the NFL because they've only made the conference finals once, and then they went to the Stanley Cup and won, obviously, that one year.
If David Tyree doesn't catch the ball against his helmet, if Mario Manningham doesn't make a ridiculous catch down the sideline, and the Giants don't win either of those Super Bowls. Now, I'm not eliminating Manning, especially on the David Tyree catch. The fact that Manning was even able to throw the ball is remarkable because he should have been sacked. So I'm not knocking it. But if they don't win those 2 Super Bowls, Eli Manning is not a Hall of Fame, not even a candidate for the Hall of Fame, except the fact that his name is Manning. Anyway, I want to get one more thing in here, Max, and Brooke Pryor is going to join us on the other side. I am fascinated, and I said this yesterday, that right now, I actually think the Carolina Panthers are favorites to win that division. Is that too crazy for you, Max?
I don't think it's that crazy at all, especially given the scenario that we were talking about before the show. If the Falcons are able tomorrow to go on the road to Tampa and win, and then the Panthers beat the Saints on Sunday, that sets up a potential division-clinching game between the Bucs and the Panthers next Sunday, where if the Panthers were to win that game as well, they clinch the NFC South with 2 weeks left because of the tiebreakers and everything.
Right.
It just puts them ahead in a position where they could lose the last 2 and still win the division.
Hey, can you imagine? Like they could be the first team to clinch of all teams. Here's the thing, and I think the Buccaneers will beat the Falcons. The Falcons will probably beat themselves. I think the Buccaneers will beat the Falcons tomorrow night. So it's going to take the full 17 games, I believe. However, the win over the Rams and the way they went about it was so impressive. That was a big boy football game that they played. And they played it to their identity and attacked the game unafraid. And I don't know why it has taken 14 weeks this year to get to that, but it has. Because it was the first time they leaned into the running game, but used the running game to accentuate their passing offense. Because when you use your run game the way they did it, and then you allow your quarterback to throw the ball down the field, and by the way, last year, statistically, Bryce Young was one of the best quarterbacks in the league at throwing the ball down the field. It really was. Granted, the pressure was different last year. But for the first time all year, they not only leaned in to keep pounding, but they played old school NFL football. We're going to run the ball, and then we're going to take our shots over top of you. Do that to the Saints, which they didn't do it last time. And then right now they seem to be better than the Bucs. I'm looking forward to Sunday. 4:25 start as well. All right, we break. Brooke Pryor, ESPN. She covers the Steelers and the rest of the National Football League as well. She joins us next.
His Zamboni is bigger than yours. The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Listen every afternoon for The Drive with Tim Donnelly.
I think we can officially say the 8th overall pick for the Carolina Panthers was a success. Dan Morgan knew what he was doing. Teteroa McMillan only needed one catch to change the game against the Rams, and they need to continue to work to give him more opportunities to change the game in the future. He is a difference maker. They need him to make a difference.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 3 to 6 on 99.9 The Fan.
Hey, it's Adam Gold from my friend Gordon Miller. Miller Lending, Kildare Farm Road and Cary, the man who invented the no closing cost mortgage. Did that in 1987, brought it to the Triangle in 1996. We're like the home of the cul-de-sac here in the Triangle. And let's say you're in the cul-de-sac and your neighbor, you have this little healthy competition. Your lawn versus his lawn, your car versus his car, your basketball hoop versus his basketball hoop. And you're always looking to get an edge. You know what your edge is? You didn't pay closing costs. He did. He wasted $5,000. The rates have come down. Now, if he wants to refinance, he has wasted that money. You, who didn't pay closing costs when the rates come down, you refinance free of charge with Miller Lending, and you save thousands again. Win the cul-de-sac wars. MillerLending.com. Miller Lending on Kildare Farm Road in Cary, an equal housing lender, NMLS ID 250-2146.
If you or anyone you care about is facing a family legal matter, call Cordell and Cordell today at 1-855-GET-LEGAL or visit CordellCordell.com to schedule your consultation.
There's a lot on the line in divorce. This is Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell, the largest family law firm in the country, with over 35 years of helping clients navigate divorce. But being big doesn't mean less personal or less local. Our attorneys live and work in your community, and as neighbors, they understand the challenges your families face. Divorce touches all areas of your life: your home, savings, retirement, and of course, kids. So when you find yourself facing divorce, you need a partner you can count on. Visit CordellCordell.com to schedule your consultation.
If you or anyone you care about is facing divorce, contact Cordell and Cordell today. With over 100,000 clients served, we understand the challenges you're facing on a personal level. Call Cordell and Cordell today at 1-855-GET-LEGAL. That's 1-855-GET-LEGAL. Joseph Cordell, licensed in Missouri and Illinois. CordellCordell.com.
Are you looking for the perfect holiday gift? Did you know that Bailey's has something for everybody and every budget? Sure, we're known for our designer jewelry, fine diamonds, and luxury watches, but we also have a vast selection of jewelry and gifts under $500. Add a little sparkle with the popular Sterling Collection Pave Diamond Hoops or Pave Diamond Cushion Pendant Necklace, both for only $175 each. Show your love with our Icon Collection Diamond Open Heart Ring for $375. Or stick with something classic, like Aquia Pearl studs starting at just $165. Bailey's is your go-to destination for holiday shopping. We're proud to make gift giving easy since 1948 and to be voted Best Jeweler year after year. Located in Raleigh's Village District, Cary's Fenton, also in Rocky Mount and Greenville and Charlotte. Every woman wants a Bailey box under the tree.
At Target, great memories start with great prices. Get gingerbread house kits for just $12, plus all the Wondershop baking must-haves. Gather the whole fam, grab some gingerbread kits, and start building sweet moments together. Then keep the joy rolling, baking up tasty treats with Wondershop that'll make the season a blast. Make unforgettable memories with incredible prices on gingerbread kits and Wondershop baking essentials. And step into the holidays, only at Target. Restrictions apply.
One Adam Gold. One Adam Gold.
Person in front of me in line had a box of wine.
Oh, yeah. I feel that person. If you are buying boxed wine on a Friday, that thing is open right now.
In the car.
Yeah. I don't even need it to cool down.
She jammed a big straw right through the top of the box
yeah.
in the
Went
car.
to the gas station to get a cup of ice. Like, they don't even care.
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I'm Adam Gold. Max Gorin sitting in for Victoria today. And Max, this is no offense to you. I love having you here. I can't help but think that our friend Brooke Pryor covers the Steelers for ESPN. Might be disappointed that Victoria is not there because they always chat for I don't know how long before we talk. So Brooke Pryor is joining us. Are you okay?
I'm working through it.
Okay.
I had a feeling that it wasn't going to be Victoria calling me when it wasn't like 12:25 and my phone wasn't ringing because she knows you call early so we can catch up.
Right.
And then when the phone rang at 12:30, I was like, I think someone else is in for Victoria today. So I mentally prepared. I'm still bummed, but I'll work through it.
Thank you. Max is he's got a thick skin, so he'll be fine.
Good. Max, you're also wonderful. You can call me at 12:25 next time, and we can chat if you're in for Victoria.
Victoria, for some reason, doesn't like to work Wednesdays. So Aaron,
Me neither.
Well, yeah, that's true, and you do have the day off. I'm really like honored that you're not doing something more interesting than talking to me. So let's talk about the discount double check guy who came back. Aaron Rodgers, we knew going into the season that there were going to be games where Aaron Rodgers looks like Aaron Rodgers, and there would be games where he looks like Nile Rodgers. So what are you seeing from number 8 right now?
Yeah, I mean, I felt like it was a ghost of Christmas past that was resurrected last weekend in Baltimore. It's been really interesting to see how he has changed in terms of how he's able to move throughout the season because he looked good early on, was more mobile than he'd been, and then he hit kind of a lull starting at that Chargers game on Sunday night where it looked like he had turned back the clock before that, and then all of a sudden it sped up and went past his current age, and now he's starting to turn it back again after some down weeks. So I think, he told us, I think it was before the LA game, it was around the Bengals game time, the first one, that he said he had gotten with his body work guy, he'd gotten loosened up, all those things. So maybe he had a follow-up appointment before the last game, before the Ravens game. But yeah, I mean, I thought that he looked really good. That was his best game of the season. However, the offense still really struggled in the fourth quarter, and I think had 3 straight 3-and-outs. I want to say they had like 8 total yards of offense. So, I mean, it was like a 75% of the way there. Which, again, is better than it's been, and it was what they needed. And I also think that it's impressive that he did all of that despite the wrist injury because a week before that, they weren't under center. It felt like it limited the offense. And he did point out, like, their play-action game hasn't been great, so it's not like that took a bunch out of the playbook, but it did eliminate the threat of them at least running. So I think that was an important thing that they were able to add back in there, even though, again, the run game was not great against the Ravens. But Rodgers looked better, which is, I think, the most important thing at this point in the season.
Brooke Pryor is joining us here on the Adam Gold Show at BE Pryor on Twitter. She covers the Steelers, but also covers the National Football League. If somebody said that was more about the Ravens than the Steelers, you would say what?
Yes, I guess so. I mean, it kind of feels like it's a game that's between two teams. It's like, no, you take the AFC North. No, you take the AFC North. I mean, neither one of these teams has looked very convincing, and lucky for them, the Bengals also don't want to have anything to do with winning the AFC North, and the Browns are just here to see if Shedeur Sanders is their next quarterback before they potentially draft one, potentially first overall in a couple months here in Pittsburgh of all places. So I think that the Ravens are a more deeply flawed team than I had realized from a distance. You know, it is hard to keep a pulse on the rest of the league when the Steelers have got a fire in my own kitchen. But I saw that and realized, like, oh, that is another smoke alarm that's going off in another part of the house, that they have a fire that needs to be put out. Because, Lamar Jackson didn't look right. This defense, the Ravens defense, was not great. I mean, they were playing against the Steelers' fourth string offensive tackle, and I don't believe Rodgers got sacked once, and he had been pretty sackable to that point. I think the Ravens have some problems. It kind of feels like whoever wins this division is not going to have a long stay in the playoffs.
I wonder, could the Bengals win that division at 8-9? I mean, I know it's mathematically possible, and if they can beat the Ravens this weekend like they did over Thanksgiving, I mean, it certainly sets it up, because the last three games for them are at Miami, who's been playing much better, home against the Cardinals and home against the Browns. But when you look at that division, can 8-9 win it?
Maybe. I mean, this division is so weird, because I swear just a couple of years ago, maybe even last year, was one of the best divisions in football. And now I feel like it's, I mean, no offense to the NFC South, but it feels a little NFC Southy here. Yeah. They're all beating each other up, and not like in a fun kind of beat up way. It's like a slap pillow fight situation, because it's not the dynamic trench warfare that we've seen in this division historically. So it would surprise me, but it would also make sense, right? I mean, the Steelers' biggest thing, and to some point the Ravens' biggest thing, is finding consistency. The Bengals also have lacked consistency, and Trey Hendrickson doesn't sound like is going to be coming back this season. So, yeah, the Bengals got their offense back on track with Joe Burrow, but their defense is still atrocious and can't hold anybody down. But then again, I don't know that the Ravens' offense is capable of coming up. So I don't know what ends up happening there. But, yeah, I mean, the Steelers, they need to beat the Dolphins for so many reasons. But one of them is that this team, this is so crazy to say, has not won back-to-back games on U.S. soil all season. They had a streak of 3 wins earlier in the year when they beat the Patriots, then went to Ireland and beat the Vikings, then had a bye week, and then came back and beat the Browns at Acrisure. But, like, that's it. It's been a roller coaster ever since. So it would be, I mean, it would be monumental if they could beat the Dolphins for so many reasons. Yeah, but that is among the most insane.
And again, Miami has been, I think they've won 5 in a row. I think Miami has won out of nowhere. All of a sudden, the Dolphins are good, and they haven't been eliminated from the playoffs yet. I think the Bengals have to win out, otherwise they have no chance. We could end up with 3 teams tied at 8-9, but ultimately, if the Steelers win today, they probably need to win just one more game the rest of the way to clinch that division. Maybe it'll wait until the end of the season in Pittsburgh against the Ravens. Brooke Pryor, that'll be amazing. You know, those two.
Really hope not, but it always does feel like that. Like let's run out the clock and make life as difficult as possible for literally everyone.
One more thing about the Steelers, and then I want to ask you about a couple of other things. What impact, in a positive way, because I think there might be a positive impact, when Rodgers basically called out the team a couple of weeks ago?
You know, it was interesting, right? Because he says he was just talking about, he said that, what can you do to get on the same page with the pass catchers? And he said, well, for starters, everybody can come to the meeting, and then when I, call a route, you run the right route.
Right.
Okay. But then he clarifies it the next week saying, I didn't mean like physical attendance has been an issue. Essentially, like, I want you to be there and be mentally in the right headspace and come with ideas and those things. But then we asked DK Metcalf, and Metcalf says, oh, I didn't go to the meeting at Rogers' house on Tuesday. Rogers has been having guys over at his house every Tuesday throughout the season. Metcalf says, I didn't go. I have a separate meeting with Aaron and Arthur Smith. And then I talked to Jonnu Smith, and Jonnu says, no, well, I didn't go to the meeting on Tuesday either. So it's not like he said that, and then everyone was like, oh, shoot, I need to make sure I'm there. I think, honestly, the biggest difference was that Adam Thielen and Marquez Valdez-Scantling were on the field against the Ravens. I don't think that Thielen and MVS necessarily had, a ton of catches and made a significant difference in the stats. But Rodgers said after the game that he felt like there was more professionalism on the field and at practice. And I think it's also worth noting, second-year wide receiver Roman Wilson, a third-round pick, was inactive on Sunday, a healthy scratch. And I asked Tomlin why that was, and he said, well, because Scotty Miller can be an alternate punt returner. Scotty Miller's not actually going to return punts in the game, but okay. And I do feel like there is something to be said for just having older veteran, been there, done that guys on the field. That's what Aaron wanted. That's what they do. And lo and behold, things look to work out better. People aren't confused and running wrong routes and things like that.
Brooke Pryor is joining us here on the Adam Gold Show. All right, you were here when Phillip Rivers was here. Heck, Phillip Rivers was here probably before you got to the triangle.
That's the case. Yeah, I was there when Russell Wilson was there. Phillip Rivers is. Yeah, I know. I am both young and old. It's crazy.
It hurts. It hurts me to even talk about it. I remember his freshman year. I remember his first game, coming back from 2 touchdowns down against like New Mexico State in the Wolfpack's opener. What do you make of this, blind shot in the dark Indianapolis is throwing?
I mean, it kind of feels like when they decided to hire Jeff Saturday as the interim head coach out of nowhere. It's not that dramatic. Okay, Phillip Rivers is, going to be a Hall of Famer, although maybe delayed 5 more years if he's on the active roster.
Yep.
Why not? I think that when I look at the available quarterbacks in the league right now, I mean, it's after the trade deadline, so you're bargain shopping on practice squads. I guess they could have tried to sign Bailey Zappi off, I believe, the Browns practice squad. But I don't know that he gives you much of an answer. I mean, there is a lack of available quarterbacks that, they could realistically get. So sure, why not? I mean, I really feel for the Colts. This is a worst case scenario that you're riding high to start the season. Then, during all of that, Daniel Jones is playing great. Anthony Richardson fractures his orbital bone in warmups because of a stretch band. Like, that's a freak injury. But it's like, well, okay, like, surely that won't come back to bite us. Things are going so well. You say, we're going to give up 2 first-round picks and get Sauce Gardner. That's going to put us over the top. And, like, mathematically, it should have. Like, when the 49ers traded for Christian McCaffrey, kind of feels like a luxury trade, but that's what puts you over the top to get into the Super Bowl. It felt like that was the Colts' move, putting all their chips in the middle of the table, and all of a sudden they have absolutely nothing in their hand. Like, their good cards just disappeared and were lit on fire. And it stinks because this could set their franchise back years because you hope that Daniel Jones is able to go next season and is able to be the quarterback that he was for the first half of the season. That's kind of in question. Achilles are tricky injuries to come back from, and you don't look right for a couple of years. You've now kind of hamstrung your ability to draft another quarterback for a while. I mean, it really stinks. And so I think this is the team saying, all right, well, we're all in. We've shown we're all in for this season. We got to keep trying to be as all in as we possibly can be, why not Phillip Rivers? So, go for it. I kind of feel like you have nothing to lose at this point.
Yeah, it does come with no risk, so that's good. You're not giving up an asset to bring Phillip Rivers in. And but you're right. I had totally forgotten that they had traded for Sauce Gardner, giving up a couple of first-round picks, and all of a sudden, in this particular, the next draft, that could end up being like the 17th pick overall. And at the very least, that's a good player, not necessarily a quarterback, but it's a good player. And if you think about the Achilles injury as it pertains to Daniel Jones, I don't know what percentage it is of his game, but 40% of his game is the ability to use his legs. And that is a really, really difficult blow. Final question for Brooke Pryor, who covers the Steelers for ESPN at BE Pryor. Who's the best team in the AFC?
Oh, that's tough because it kind of feels like a conference that no one wants to win. I think the Patriots? Question mark.
Right.
Patriots or the Broncos? I mean, neither one of those, even though they are. I mean, the Broncos have won 10 straight. So have the
Pats. Yeah.
I think, you know what? I'm going to let myself have a little bias here because I feel like these two teams are so close in my mind. I'm going to go with the Patriots because of my Drake May bias, my Tar Heel. And I love the pairing of Drake May and Mike Vrabel and Josh McDaniels. I think that they've really found a good synergy between the three of them. Their leadership styles, their communication styles. I think that their personalities balance each other out. I mean, Drake is so steady and Vrabel is so excitable. I think that they even each other out. And McDaniel's system has worked well with Drake May. He has taken the leap that you hope to see out of every second-year quarterback, but he's really taken it. And I think that he's absolutely in the MVP conversation. I think that, they can't help who their schedule is, right? I mean, you can only play the teams that are in front of you. And if you've played them and beaten them, then, that should say something. But the Broncos at the same time have had these insane wins. It kind of feels like the Chiefs from last season that they should not have won all these games. They are worse than their record suggests. And yet here they are. And I think that can make a huge difference in the playoffs where weird things happen and this team is going to have the belief of we've won ugly, we have won in ways we should not have, we can do it again. But I'm gonna let Drake May and the Patriots edge out the Broncos right now.
Brooke Pryor at BE Pryor on Twitter. Thank you for ruining part of your day off. I appreciate your time. And I'll tell Victoria you said hello, and we'll talk again very soon.
Please do. Sounds wonderful. Talk to you soon.
You got it. Brooke Pryor here on the Adam Gold Show. One-timers next.
Because your fantasy football team needs all the help it can get, the Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Hello, I'm Steve Troxler, North Carolina Commissioner of Agriculture. Farming's tough, but you're not alone. That's why the North Carolina Agri-Medicine Institute offers the North Carolina Farm Helpline, a free 24/7 resource for the agriculture community. Long hours, difficult decisions, and unexpected challenges can add up. Whether you need to talk to a counselor who understands farming or help with finances, legal questions, or farm safety, call 844-325-3276. That's 844-325-3276, the North Carolina Farm Helpline, a free 24/7 resource for the agriculture community. 844-325-3276, because no one should face farm life alone.
As we wind down the high school football sports season and head into the holidays, the Governor's Highway Safety Program would like to remind you to buckle your seatbelt when traveling to and from athletic events. Wearing a seatbelt is your best defense against injury or death in a crash. Start the season off right and prioritize your safety by buckling up. Every seat, every time. Remember, click it or ticket. It's the law. This message is brought to you by the North Carolina High School Athletic Association and the Governor's Highway Safety Program.
Open enrollment for health insurance is here, but don't worry. North Carolina Farm Bureau Insurance has you covered for all your health insurance needs, including Medicare. And with offices in every county, a trusted, experienced agent is just around the corner, ready to help find a plan that's right for you. Visit ncfbins.com or stop by your local office today. North Carolina Farm Bureau Insurance. Helping you is what we do best.
Adam Gold here for my friends at FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook, and your home for same-game parlays, points and rebounds, threes, assists, money lines, totals, all of it. FanDuel is your home. And new customers can get $150 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins, and that one does not have to be a same-game parlay. We're trying to give you $150 of FanDuel's money, people, so don't look a gift parlay in the mouth. FanDuel.com/AGS. FanDuel.com/AGS. FanDuel, official sports betting partner of the NBA.
21 and over and present in North Carolina. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonuses issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets, which expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov.
I had questions about my child's vaccines, so I got real answers from her doctor because we share the same goal, keeping her healthy and strong. Her doctor told me that keeping up with childhood vaccines, getting them at the recommended ages and sometimes together, is a proven way to protect her from serious illnesses, ones that can be prevented with vaccines. Have questions? Get real answers. Talk to your doctor. Visit vaccinesforkids.nc.gov. Paid for by NCDHHS.
North Carolina ranks second in the nation in potential agricultural land lost by the year 2040. The NC Forever Farms program supports the preservation of family farms through permanent agricultural conservation easements and has received a record number of applications for 3 straight years. Landowners interested in preserving their working farm through the Farmland Preservation Division of the North Carolina Department of Agriculture and Consumer Services can learn more by visiting ncadfp.org.
This is Adam Gold.
I told Tim, who does the afternoon show, I said, I'm about to turn this game around. We need Cheez-Its. So I went to go get magical Lucky Cheez-Its, and guess what? Boom. Period 2, tied it up. And then at the end of the game, I still had like 8 Cheez-Its in the cup left, and I said, Lucky Cheez-Its.
There you go.
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I am Adam Gold. I just saw flashed up former Duke star Derek Lively out for the season. He's going to have surgery on his foot. Does everybody get hurt? Everybody. It's amazing.
Regardless of the sport.
Everybody's hurt. What are we doing wrong? Did people just play through every injury in the world? I'm not talking about back in the 50s when we were just rubbing dirt on it. Like, it just seems over the last 15 years, nobody can stay healthy at all in any sport. All right, we got a lot of stuff to do. Chip Patterson next hour. Right now, it's time for one-timers.
All right, so we've been talking plenty about the rise of Brandon Bussey, how well he's playing. He joined elite company with the win last night, becoming, I think, one of only 5 goaltenders to win 9 of his first 10 starts in the NHL. So, Adam, I ask you, where does Brandon Bussey rank among Canes goalies in the Rod Brindamore era, just through 10 games of his career?
Wow. I mean, you're talking about, I mean, I'm not going to use stats because that's ridiculous. The best goaltender, you ready for this? The best goaltender in the 10 years of the 8 years now of Rod Brindamore is Frederick Anderson.
Yeah, especially that first season.
Yeah, and he's been good. He was good the other 4 too, other 3 as well. Like, that's the thing that bothers me about this. Look, I'm not sitting here saying that Freddie's great right now, but People have selective memory when it comes to Anderson.
Yeah, he was awesome, especially in those 2023 playoffs.
Oh, phenomenal. They could have easily won the series against Florida. Easily won that series. Didn't. Look, Anderson is 1. I'll go Peter Mrazek 2. Auntie Ronta 3. I'll just leave it there. I can't put Brendan Bussey on the list yet.
Nothing for what about prime Peter Mrazek? How far up there is he?
I have Mrazek 2.
Oh, yes.
Mrazek 2. Was it? Do we have no more questions? One more.
Well, at the horn, we got 15 seconds.
It's all right.
Who should make the Pro Bowl from the Panthers?
Pro Bowl from the my new favorite player, Mike Jackson. And I'm obviously J.C. Horn has been tremendous. Those two guys can make it.
Still arguing whether hockey or golf has the tougher dress code? The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Excuse me, garçon. I'll pick up the tab for the lady and I.
Sir, this is Monopoly money.
And there's more where that came from.
I'm calling the cops.
Don't waste your time. I have a get-out-of-jail-free card.
Start playing for real money. New Monopoly scratch-offs from the North Carolina Education Lottery have real cash wins of up to $1 million. Monopoly is a trademark of Hasbro. Must be 18 to play. Approximate overall odds of winning range from 1 in 3.83 to 4.28. Problem gambling helpline 877-718-5543.
With other language learning apps, I was just playing games. I wasn't really learning. Babbel's different.
Babbel was designed by over 200 language learning experts to be the most effective way to learn another language.
Every time I open the app, I can choose to work on my writing, speaking, or listening. And it saves my mistakes for me to review, so I'm constantly improving. Before Babbel, I thought I just wasn't good with languages. But now I'm speaking French. Tout ça, c'est grâce à Babbel.
Save up to 50% on your Babbel subscription when you sign up at Babbel.com. Babbel.com.
This is the sound of Claire, cooking dinner at home. And that's the sound of a fraud alert from Wells Fargo, flagging a charge for a pricey restaurant in Paris. Considering Claire isn't in Paris right now, that seemed odd. To the bank and to Claire. 2 taps later, Claire says nope to the charge, and Wells Fargo is on the case. However you make money work, Wells Fargo can work with that.
Wells Fargo Bank, N.A., member FDIC.
Actual price will depend on product and subscription plan. Featured products are compounded drug products, which the FDA does not approve or verify for safety, effectiveness, or quality. Prescription products require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. See website for details, restrictions, and important safety information.
Want a boost in and out of the bedroom? Hims has you covered. Introducing a new 2-in-1 approach to level up your game. Tadalafil for better bedroom performance and zinc for testosterone support. Turn things all the way up and find affordable treatment options at up to 95% less than brand names at hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy.
It's bow time. 'Tis the season for food and family, but thanks to Bojangles, you don't have to spend hours in the kitchen when loved ones come home for the holidays. Set down the spatula and put away the mixing bowls, because this holiday season, Bojangles is ready to help you celebrate with all your family favorites like Chicken Supreme, Cajun Filet Biscuits, or a big bow box of hand-breaded chicken, scratch-made biscuits, and fixins for the whole family. We'll make the food so you can focus on making memories. Head to Bojangles and gift yourself a taste of home. It's bow time.
If it's ho-ho-ho time, it's Bo-Bo-Bo time. Time to order a party-sized platter of that bodacious Bojangles flavor before your next holiday celebration. Choose a Bojangles Supremes platter and get 50 whole breast tenderloin fillets. Or go with a Bojangles dessert platter and get 2 dozen Bo-Berry biscuits, 2 dozen cinnamon twists, or 1 dozen of each. It's a platter full of Bo-liciousness. And don't forget to pick up Bojangles gift cards. Just the right gift for anyone on your list. Hurry, it's Bo time.
Do you worry about how much someone drinks? Do you feel neglected or unloved? If you answered yes to any of these questions, you are not alone.
Al-Anon and Alateen can help. Call 1-866-200-0223 or visit alanon.org/help.
This is the story of the one. As an HVAC technician, he and his digital multimeter are in high demand. So when a noisy office HVAC turns out to be a failing blower motor, he doesn't break a sweat. With Grainger's easy-to-use website and product information, he selects the product he needs to keep everything humming right along. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
This hour of the Triangle Sports Leader is powered by Ritchie Law Firm, injury lawyers. Ritchie Law is on top of it. Go to ritchielaw.com.
That's ritchielaw.com.
Broadcasting live from the Lenovo Studios. WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. 99.9 The Fan. The Triangle Sports Leader.
I think the one word that comes to mind is validation. And I say that because that was the question mark last year, right? Well, you've got this great record, but who did you beat? Well, guess what? They beat 2 top 5 teams this year, including Oregon on the road by double digits. And so to me, that's the word to use with Indiana is validation. I think it's evidence that last year wasn't a flash in the pan, that Curt Cignetti has actually built something special at Indiana faster than I've seen anyone ever do it.
That's Heather Dittich from ESPN. I'm Adam Gold. This is the Adam Gold Show. Max Gorin is producing the program. Chip Patterson will join us in 15 minutes. We'll talk about this year in college football where Indiana won the Big Ten and Duke won the ACC. Yep. Football. Not basketball. Where Indiana, although not recently, wouldn't sound crazy to win the Big Ten. And Duke, obviously, would not sound crazy to win the ACC. But football. Speaking of football, did you see Jameis Winston throw shade at Florida State football?
No, I didn't. I didn't see that.
Credited the national champion Florida State women for winning the women's soccer tournament, saying that they are consistently the best football program at FSU. Jameis Winston did that. That's fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. Hope everybody's having a good day. You can watch us on YouTube. Go to YouTube / search Adam Gold Show or 99.9 The Fan, and you can find us. You can watch the show. You can contribute in the chat box. Max Gorin producing. We will talk to Chip Patterson about the college football playoff coming up in a little bit. Couple of quick things. So let's play the music. We're running it back. Canes won last night. We're going to talk about that. But we spent a fair amount of Monday and a little bit of yesterday talking about Notre Dame's reaction to missing out on the college football playoff, which has been childish. Pete Bavacqua has not covered himself in glory over the last few days. He's the athletic director at Notre Dame, and in many ways that's conference commissioner level job. Because when the conference commissioners meet, you're there. So Ivan Maisel wrote a book about legendary Notre Dame football coach Frank Leahy. He was scheduled to do an appearance at the Notre Dame Student Bookstore. Ivan Maisel is on the college football playoff selection committee. Apparently, I didn't know this. The bookstore canceled the appearance. Don't know if they canceled the appearance because he's on the committee. You're free to make that decision on your own. But really? Has the entire university lost their mind? I've been saying this for 3 days. I think Notre Dame was a playoff team. I think Miami was a playoff team. I think if it were my decision, I would have left Alabama out. But you could also make very good arguments for Alabama. So Miami could have easily gotten left out. Miami's only got one win against the college football rankings top 25. Only one. The one against Notre Dame. Notre Dame only had the one against USC. Alabama had 2, Georgia and Vanderbilt. But they also had, by quite a distance, the worst loss. And losses matter.
Well, unless they're in August, and then they don't.
Well, it mattered to Notre Dame. Because the real difference was the loss to Miami, right? Schedules don't matter. And we're going to talk about that with Chip Patterson because I'm curious the difference between Texas and Texas A&M and the schedules they played. We will get to that with Chip Patterson coming up in a little bit. All right, so Hurricanes last night at Lenovo Center won 4-1 over the Columbus Blue Jackets. 48 hours after really playing a listless game against the San Jose Sharks. It looked like they were continuing that behavior against Columbus. Blue Jackets scored on a power play to make it 1-0 in the first period. Carolina had some good scoring opportunities but didn't convert. They had, by any account, maybe 5 should-have-been goals that weren't goals. Jackson Blake in the first period. Mark Jankowski maybe twice in the second period. Even after they scored the goal to make it 1-1, Seth Jarvis had another opportunity that should have been a goal. They had plenty of those last night. And they've had a little trouble converting really good scoring chances of late. But they got the equalizer from Jarvis, and at that point, they completely flipped the game on its ear. They dominated the game from that point on. In fact, they had the last 2 shots before the Jarvis goal. And the Jarvis goal came just before the end, or just before the midpoint of the period. Like it was at 9:42, I think, officially. The Blue Jackets did not register a shot on goal the rest of the period. In fact, if you go to the first 2 shots of the third period, the Hurricanes had 14 consecutive shots on goal. And 4 of them were from inside 10 feet. They dominated the second half of that game. Dominated. It started to look a lot more like Hurricanes hockey. And that was good for a lot of reasons. 1, you needed to win a game. 2, you're coming off a poor performance. And, yeah, the guys upstairs who won the cup, they didn't – it's not that they came here to watch the Hurricanes play. They came here because it was a reunion. They're also supporting their, one of their besties, the head coach. They deserve to see something great. And they did see it for the final 30 minutes. Andrei Svechnikov was awesome last night. Jordan Stahl was great. Brandon Bussey he's got at least one hand around the neck of the number 1 job right now. If Rod Brindamore gives him the crease tomorrow in Washington and he plays well and they win that game, I think you're looking at Bussey and more than likely Kochetkov, if he stays healthy, as your 1 and 1A for the foreseeable future. Freddie's going to get some games, but Freddie's going to have to revert back to the good Freddie quickly. Otherwise, I just don't know how much more action he's going to get because the Hurricanes, you got to win games. It's too tight. It's too tight to give up any track position. Freddie is 5-7-2. There's something to that. There's a lot to that. Brandon Bussey is 9-1-0. Pyotr Kochetkov is 4-1-0. That's, at this point, we are nearly 30 games into the season. Tomorrow will be 30. That's not small sample. That's quick math. 13-2-0 on one side in 15 starts. 5-7-2 in 14 on the other side. At some point, that just tells you the entire story. So whenever Freddie gets another opportunity, maybe it'll be tomorrow, he's got to start posting wins. which means you got to come up with big saves, which Freddie has not in any way, shape, or form been able to do. All right, we're going to get a break here. Chip Patterson's going to join us on the other side. The behavior of Pete Bavacqua, the criticism of Pete Bavacqua from other conference commissioners. Jim Phillips did not criticize Pete Bavacqua. Brett Yormark did, the commissioner of the Big 12, who I actually think has a gripe for one of his teams. I really do. BYU could have made a case. But we'll talk to Chip Patterson about it next.
Because your fantasy football team needs all the help it can get, the Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Evan, Canty, and Michelle are unsportsmanlike.
When the Eagles' offense looks wrong is when they're right. Every complaint was correct based on the way the offense looked. But that's how they win. When they looked wrong, they were right. Now, when they're trying to look right, they go wrong. Every time the offense looks bad, previously, is when they have actually won games.
Mornings from 6 to 9 on 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
Hey, it's Adam Gold from my friends at FanDuel, America's #1 sports book and your home for same-game parlays in the NBA. It's your home for everything when it comes to making the games we watch just a little bit more spicy. And right now, perfect time to join. New customers, $150 in bonus bets to you if your first $5 bet wins. How about Jalen Williams to go over 20 points for OKC tonight? He'll get that. And then you cash in on FanDuel's money. FanDuel.com/AdamGold. Sign up today. FanDuel.com/AdamGold. For FanDuel, official sports betting partner of the NBA. 21 and over and present in North Carolina. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonuses issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets, which expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov.
You know, Coach, I feel like a lot of people, including myself, have debt. Then we feel like we have to, we got to pay this off before we invest. But then like, oh, we want to go buy a new car and we want to go and I want this new pocketbook and I want all these other things. How do you juggle all that?
Well, it's tough, but you have to have a plan. And that's what we always say. Not just saying, well, one day I'm going to do this. No, have a written plan. Vision what you want to do in retirement and vision what you have put aside and think about what you want that money to do for you. You want it to be there for the rest of your life. You want that retirement account. I wrote about this in my new book, The Big Book on Retirement. It's over 300 pages. Amanda, I'm going to do this. Thomas, do we have? Yeah, Thomas is nodding. All right, for the next 30 people who call, we've got 30 copies I'm going to leave with you here, but 30 people who call, we'll send you a copy of The Big Book on Retirement, and I'll give you a golden ticket to get your very own total retirement plan.
Call Coach today, 919-794-7900, 919-794-7900, or text Amanda to 600-700.
Amanda Daughtry is a paid spokesperson. Investment advisory services offered by Capital Financial Advisory Group, a North Carolina registered investment advisor.
If you or anyone you care about is facing a family legal matter, call Cordell & Cordell today at 1-855-GET-LEGAL or visit CordellCordell.com to schedule your consultation.
There's a lot on the line in divorce. This is Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell, the largest family law firm in the country, with over 35 years of helping clients navigate divorce. But being big doesn't mean less personal or less local. Our attorneys live and work in your community, and as neighbors, they understand the challenges your families face. Divorce touches all areas of your life: your home, savings, retirement, and of course, kids. So when you find yourself facing divorce, you need a partner you can count on. Visit CordellCordell.com to schedule your consultation.
If you or anyone you care about is facing divorce, contact Cordell & Cordell today. With over 100,000 clients served, we understand the challenges you're facing on a personal level. Call Cordell & Cordell today at 1-855-GET-LEGAL. That's 1-855-GET-LEGAL. Joseph Cordell, licensed in Missouri and Illinois. CordellCordell.com.
Did you know that Bailey's Fine Jewelry has something for everybody and every budget? Sure, we're known for luxury designers, fine diamonds, and watches, but we also have a huge selection of jewelry and gifts under $500. We're celebrating making holiday gifting easy since 1948. You can shop online at baileybox.com, or we invite you to visit one of our locations in Raleigh, Cary, Rocky Mount, Greenville, and Charlotte to see why every woman wants a Bailey box under the tree.
This is Adam Gold.
He doesn't have many years to choose from.
No, and part of that was COVID. Nobody's picking COVID.
COVID was a great year.
Yeah.
Look, if you invested in Zoom,
oh, that was a good year.
You
Yes.
had a good year during COVID.
Yep.
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I'm Adam Gold. Max Gorin on the ones and twos here today. Victoria's on assignment. She'll be back tomorrow. It's not been a good offseason for the Mets. They traded Brandon Nimmo, who they drafted. Never played high school ball because they didn't have high school baseball in Wyoming because that's where he's from. But he was a very good Met. Had just signed a long-term contract a couple of years ago. They traded him for a, 36-year-old second baseman. That makes perfect sense. They allowed Edwin Diaz, the closer, one of the best closers in baseball, to sign with the Dodgers yesterday. And today they just allowed Pete Alonso to leave and sign with the Baltimore Orioles. Good for Baltimore. Like, seriously, invest in your team. You should. So I harbor no ill will towards the Orioles. I have a soft spot for them because having lived in Baltimore in that area for 10 years, I went to a lot of Oriole games, and I want that franchise to do well. And I hope Pete Alonso will be a cornerstone, one of the cornerstones of an Oriole team that, gets back to being good in a very difficult division. But I don't know what the plan is for the Mets. I don't. I get he's 31, but other than his rookie season, Pete Alonso's coming off his best year in the big leagues. He plays every game. He doesn't miss games. Back-to-back 162-game seasons. He's got two others of 160. What are we doing? All right. Chip Patterson, CBSSports.com, Cover 3 podcast moderator, my friend. There he is. Sir, first of all, I sent you a text. I know you've been busy. You've been all over CBS Sports HQ, but I listened to the upon further review on Monday. Mm-hmm. Had Tom Fornelli and Bud Elliott been in the same room, I think you might have had to separate them.
Brothers fight, that one broke contain,
Very good.
Yeah, I just truthfully, and I'll be transparent with you. We had superiors, who were like, "Is everything okay?"
Oh, really?
Do we need to have a sit down?
Oh,
it was very passionate.
It was,
but the same, Danny and I shared the same sentiment in that we did not think it was as big a deal as the conversation was going on as it seemed to resonate with the audience.
Oh, it's fun.
But yeah, because honestly one of the great, it unfortunately backs up one of the great strengths of the Cover 3 podcast, mm-hmm. which is that fans listen to the Cover 3 podcast and almost certainly think at least one of us is a genius and at least one of us is a blowhard. It's just, we all love each other. And there is trust that one of the things at the core of all of our conversations is that we do really love college football. Yes. And we love talking about college football with each other. If we didn't, we wouldn't do 250 some odd episodes a year.
It's crazy.
It was awesome. Things got a little heated with the boys, but yeah, Tom and Bud were on the same CBS Sports Network show on Tuesday, and we did the same, same show here on a Wednesday. So we're still good. We're rocking and rolling.
I absolutely loved it. And for those people who have not listened to it yet, you go listen to Monday's episode. And it really was about schedules, right? It was about Notre Dame having an easier schedule than people think. And Bud Elliott talking about that, and Tom Fornelli go, well, 10 Power 4 schools. Look, Power 4 schools are not all the same. And 5 of them this year came from not all the bottom of the ACC, obviously, but Boston College and Stanford and Syracuse and NC State. It was not a bottom of the ACC team. They were a middle of the ACC team, but of course, Miami. So I do want to talk about schedules and that with you. But I think the number one topic has been the reaction of Notre Dame to all of this. I'll tell you what my biggest takeaway was. I watched the interview on Peacock on the Dan Patrick Show with Pete Bavacqua. And then I caught some of the press conference. And what really jumps out to me about this is that, and I realize that sometimes when I talk about these things, like, because I try to make jokes all the time, that I'm not being serious. But I've always been serious, that nobody should ever pay attention to the weekly rankings from the College Football Playoff Committee. That it's just a TV show. That they are not beholden to anything. They can tear it up and start over the next week. Mm-hmm. And it seemed to me like Pete Bavacqua had bought in to everything they had said. And to me, that's a Pete Bavacqua problem. And there's a committee problem here too, but to me, that's a Pete Bavacqua problem. What was your takeaway from all of that?
Look, he might be weaponizing or overblowing the issue.
Right.
But I think it's more about the players, that there is a big bracket posted everywhere. If it ended today, and you and I joked about how silly it was that they kept putting Miami there. And then finally at the last one, they just said conference champ number 4.
Right.
But every one of those had Notre Dame in.
Right.
And if you are a college football player, 18 to 22 years old, and I know that this sounds crazy in this modern era, but you're wrapping up your fall semester. You're getting ready for, at Notre Dame, you do have to go to class.
Yeah.
Riley Leonard was the one who told us, because he went to Duke where you had to go to class, and he went to Notre Dame when you had to go to class. And the only difference was at Duke, they give you tablets that haven't even been released yet. And then at Notre Dame, they still make you write in blue books. It is the same focus on academics and rigors, just with different eras, apparently, or centuries that we were operating in. Maybe at Notre Dame, they're doing it on tablets. It's just, I agree. I understand that part of it, That it's like, hey, this messaging was really, really crappy for our team.
Yeah.
It is a problem. Rankings are malleable. This was one of my thoughts was this is not a bakery where you draw number 10 and therefore you are in line holding number 10. Rankings do not work that way.
Mm-hmm.
That is a mistake to make. But the messaging of the weekly rankings, both in terms of stuff you and I have talked about, which has truly always been pointless, which is the comments from the committee chair, who is tasked with summarizing the discussions from inside the committee room. That has always been, because the truth is Mark D'Antonio really might be in there just saying, I like Utah.
Right.
And what are you going to do? Because you know what the College Football Playoff Selection Committee is? Jury duty. Yeah. It is jury duty for college sports. I don't understand why we ever tasked them with doing anything other than ranking the teams. You could make it an email. You could make it a press release. That part of it I've always been out on. And as I've discussed on your show here, I don't even hear it because I'm usually live having to react to it. It is part of the television contract that they have these ranking shows. So I don't know if we're going to be able to get rid of them.
No, we're not getting rid of them. ESPN wants them.
I know that we are discussing changing the way we cover them.
Good.
I don't know if that changes anything or if that'll be our loss. We'll see. But this is certainly this is certainly another one of those moments, right? Where we're like, okay, because if they had just released the bracket the way that the NCAA tournament does,
exactly,
Notre Dame would be mad, but college football at large would not feel like they've been part of some charade.
I'm with you. I've been talking about it in this regard for as many years as we've had one of these, because they will, for no reason, randomly change. But I do think, and this is where I'm going to contradict myself here, Chip Patterson, who joins us every Wednesday, I think they told you what they were going to do the previous week. They told everybody. There was zero justification to move Alabama ahead of Notre Dame. None. You couldn't have possibly watched Alabama-Auburn and been so impressed that you moved them ahead of Notre Dame. Like, regardless of who Notre Dame played, and they played Stanford, who's no good, you could not have possibly watched that game and been so impressed with Alabama that they suddenly moved ahead of the Irish based on the way that game played out at Auburn. I know it's a rivalry game and all that, but Auburn wasn't any good. But they did that, and they basically told – they should have told – Notre Dame should have read the tea leaves if they were really paying attention. Suddenly, if BYU were to lose, that would make Notre Dame and Miami back-to-back, which would elevate Miami because they said then we could compare the two. They should have been comparing the two anyway, but that's another story altogether because there's all sorts of tentacles to these discussions. So while they were trying to pay attention all along, they should have been paying attention at the end because I think they forecast this move.
The real curiosity for me is the following little data set. So these are what have happened to ranked conference championship game losers going back to 2023. Georgia dropped 5 spots after losing in the conference championship game. Oregon dropped 3 spots. Louisville dropped 1 spot. Iowa dropped 1 spot. Oklahoma State dropped 2 spots. Tulane dropped out of the rankings. Now we're on to 2024. Texas lost in the conference championship game, dropped 1 spot. Penn State dropped 1 spot. SMU dropped 2 spots. Iowa State dropped 2 spots. UNLV dropped 4 spots. Now we're on to 2025. Ohio State dropped 1 spot. BYU dropped 1 spot. Virginia dropped 2 spots. North Texas dropped 1 spot. And the Alabama Crimson Tide are the only team that has not moved down a single spot after losing a conference championship game.
And they were non-competitive against Georgia.
You did not move Miami for beating a team that the committee admitted was better because Pitt was in the top 25 going into that game. Miami won that game handily, yet Miami did not move. Alabama moved up. You back yourselves into these corners, you know?
Yep.
And it's tough. I've told you before, I fill out a top 50 every single week.
That's incredible. I
And
don't know how you do that.
There are spots in these rankings that get really, really tricky. You've got to make tough decisions where not everything is going to be clean. Not everything is going to respect head-to-head. I understand. But, man, I don't know if anything will change out of this, but I definitely understand why a lot of college football fans feel as though they've kind of been taken on a ride by the college football playoff brought to you by Bush's Beans. Watch it now on Feast Week. Hold it in the Lahaina Civic Center in Maui. 'Cause that's all it is. It is just an organized invitational.
It is. I 100% agree. So it came down to, and Chip Patterson is joining us here, CBSSports.com, Cover 3 podcast. It seemingly came down to Alabama versus Notre Dame versus Miami, 3 teams for 2 spots. Do you agree that that's what it came down to? It just seems obvious. And then, if you do agree to that, who would you have left out of that trio?
I would have left out Notre Dame.
Okay.
I told you this too. I was asked across every single platform before the very first ranking to predict what they were going to do. I had Miami ahead of Notre Dame from the beginning.
Okay.
So I would have had that from the beginning, and they both won out, and I would have kept them both in that, somewhat similar position. So while it was a punishing non-competitive loss, and while they looked bad coming down the stretch, Alabama does have a better resume than Notre Dame.
I agree to a point.
Alabama has a better resume than
Right.
Notre Dame. I would have given Alabama a crack at it. I would have given forgiveness for the SEC title game loss, and I would have said just make an extra point against Texas A&M. We've got a different conversation.
Right. I think Alabama played a better schedule than Notre Dame, and it gets me to the other part of this. I think there are two things that get college football as a game is better maybe than it's ever been, right?
Sure.
I think there's more talent spread out. I think we have, I think we maybe, even though Indiana and Ohio State are the top two seeds, I don't think anybody would be that stunned would you be stunned if Miami won the title?
Yes.
You would be.
Yeah.
So how many teams do you think can win it?
5. 4, 4.5. I'll give it to you right now. Okay. It is the Indiana Hoosiers. Which, by the way, did you hear that this Indiana team's pretty good?
It's
I know
amazing.
There's been a lot of doubt. I know there's been a lot of doubt.
It's amazing. I have no doubt about it.
The doubt included leading up to kickoff. Danny's at the game and he's walking around during warmups, which I understand not everyone gets the media access, but fans can get in the building early.
Right.
If you can walk down to field level in whatever section you're sitting in and just look at the bodies before they've got the pads on, sometimes there are remarkable differences. And Ohio State during warmups looked remarkably different to Indiana, but that team is well coached.
Oh yeah.
They do their job and they just were there. They got a good push. Anyway, so Indiana, Ohio State, Georgia, Oregon, if the wide receivers get healthy, and Texas Tech's defense. Not Texas Tech's offense, just Texas Tech's defense. That's why I said 4.5 teams can win the national title.
All right. So, and that is fair, but the talent is more spread out, right? I think we're seeing that because I think you could have made argument that Notre Dame is in. I really think, and Brett Yormark was critical of Pete Bavacqua, and Yormark, who's the commissioner of the Big 12, said he thinks the committee did a good job. He agreed even with leaving BYU out. I think BYU had a pretty good argument based on the committee's rankings with 2 ranked wins. Yeah, they were non-competitive twice against Texas Tech, but I mean, if they didn't play the second game against Texas Tech, if somehow a tiebreaker had put Duke in the Big 12 championship game and BYU wasn't there, they might have gotten in, right? I mean, they did prove to be a pretty good team otherwise, but I just think it's spread out. So I think the game is better, but I think the conference size gets in everybody's way here. And the committee meetings and these shows really put everybody in a very bad position. And I wish they would put their own disclaimer on it, but they never do. Let me ask you a question about the schedules. Texas A&M played a 2-game schedule.
Right.
Right. They played Notre Dame, which they won,
and Texas.
And Texas, which they lost. Texas. There were 7 SEC teams in the college football playoff rankings, final rankings. Texas was one of them. They played 5 of the other 6. Texas A&M only played Texas.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the schedules were so different. I don't know that you could leave Texas A&M out based on a loss to Texas.
I mean, 11-1. When we're making argument, I mean, you could do the same thing about Ole Miss. Ole Miss played some of the bottom teams in the SEC, but
But they did have another win over Oklahoma, and Tulane, you could say whatever you want about Tulane. Just using the committee's rankings, they had 2 wins against the committee. A&M had just the one. They're not the only one, and I'm not saying leaving Texas A&M out, but it shows you how difficult it is. Texas's schedule was the most difficult among these teams. They went 3-2 against the committee's rankings. Is 3-2 better than 1-1?
I don't. It's not that complicated. It's usually just a loss sorter. You ever just go to sort data by column B, Z to A, or A to Z?
Sure.
I mean, Texas A&M, just like in the 90s and the 80s and the 70s and the 60s. I mean, it's just, I don't know. You're the team with 11 wins and 1 losses, so you're in the debate. You're the team with 9 wins and 3 losses. You are not in the debate. I don't have a problem with that. It's kind of how college football has ranked teams for a long time.
It is. So then what's the incentive to play those games? Now, I'm not trying to back Steve Sarkisian here. And the reason why Texas was left out was because they lost to Florida. That's the reason why they're not in the playoff.
Yeah, if they're 10-2 without the Florida game, they're in.
Yeah, if they win that game, they're in the playoff. But if we're going to reward, I don't know, I mean, because it's the entirety of your schedule. That was my argument against Indiana last year. You remember that. I didn't not think that Indiana was a good team. I just think that
you kind of did not think Indiana was a good team.
Well, in their first playoff game, they got housed.
Yeah.
So maybe I was right last year. This year has nothing to do with last year.
I can't remember. Who beat them? Was it the team that went all the way to the national title game?
The best team. But they were really non-competitive against the best team. I'm just saying that the entirety of the schedules should matter, but I don't think it does. But I've said this before about college football. It's never mattered, which begs the question, why do it?
But the thing that you're talking about really comes down to the conference stuff, not necessarily your motivation. You're pointing out Texas A&M. How about we talk about Virginia? Virginia having, before the season started, a conference draw that looked really favorable on paper, and they went out, they took care of business, made it all the way to the conference championship game. Texas A&M, they had a favorable conference draw. They went out and they took care of business.
Yep.
Like that is that isn't some big scheduling philosophy. I mean, that's just that's what you get for expanding to conferences of this kind of size, that kind of imbalance.
Yeah, I mean, Duke, you know me, I argued way against the way the ACC scheduled out of league. Duke played 2 road games against group of 5 teams. I just don't even understand that. Like, you can't possibly do that. Like, I mean, if you want to go to Charlotte, you want to pick on the bottom of the group of 5, have at it. But everybody knew Tulane was going to be good. And Connecticut has been trending up. That's what Jim Morris did a great job there. I mean, and I said this about, do I think Duke would beat JMU today? Yes, I do. I think Duke's a better football team than JMU. But 5 losses have to matter. So that's what I thought. I had no problem with Duke getting left out because I do think, and so you and I aren't disagreeing there. I just think that the committee doesn't really care who you played.
Stop there. That is my fix. So let's even if there is a committee,
right?
We need to stop making the committee a main character in the sport.
Okay. How do we do that?
We stop asking a committee chair to talk on television every single week.
I'm with you.
Yeah, I mean, it's the selection committee. The selection committee exists in basketball and baseball, and there is controversy, but the controversy lasts for 2 days, and then the games start.
Mm-hmm.
So we could create a lot more trust in the system if we just wait until, like everyone always says, let it all play out, let it all play out, let it all play out. And the weekly updates are literally the opposite of letting it all play out. It is trying to examine these college football teams as stocks and to try and analyze their rising and falling in comparison against each other, when at every single point until the end of the season, it is an incomplete body of work.
Agreed.
The toughest game might be to come. There might be nothing but easy games left to come. And sometimes because of these comments that are made, they dig themselves and back themselves into corners that they're just not able to get out of.
First of all, do you think this will get us to 16 quicker?
I don't know.
Do you want 16?
Do you know what my 16 is?
What is it?
Every single conference champion gets in. You know what?
No way.
Listen, I'm not a television executive. I'm a fan of competitiveness.
Right.
Like I'm a fan of, I don't know, actually having this play out like all of the other sports, where if you win the conference championship, you get in. We expand to 16 and give an automatic bid to every single conference champion, 0 buys. Every single team that made this year's college football playoff would still make it, except for Miami. So when you have 6 at-large bids, you still are casting a net that is wide enough to get teams that can win it. And I started thinking about this when I was trying to do my expert bracket on Sunday afternoon on CBS Sports HQ. It's like, none of these teams can win this thing. Alabama, Oklahoma, are you kidding me? Like, let's no. If we are going to have a 16-team bracket and make it nice and clean, then whatever. I don't care about 20-point spreads because I'm not a television executive. You know?
Right.
I think the playoff is just a big, fine television product anyway. Whoever makes it to the later rounds, now we can start talking about championships. But instead of having 3 lost teams, I'd rather have the team that won a trophy. And yeah, the body types are different. And Bud Elliott told me I was crazy. And he said, oh, it's a player safety issue. And I was like, all right,
they play the games.
Like,
it's not a player safety issue. It's not a player safety issue when Alabama plays the Citadel or Clemson. Of course, like, we don't care about it then. Why would we care about it now?
Give Kennesaw State a shot. Like, we still have 2-15s. We still have we still go out there and play those games. And you know what? For those teams who are going to get the home games in the first round, the other part of it, if you want it, so automatic for every single conference champion, fill out the rest of the field with at-larges. First 2 rounds are both home.
Yeah, I agree.
So we're going to be able to have 2 rounds of home games. You have all 8 first-round games on one Saturday, so it feels like a college football Saturday with action going on all across the country. And then those teams that are favored by 21 points, if you take care of business, guess what? That's less impact on your starters. Get to go out there and build some depth. That's great. But, yeah, I would rather have it if you are true. And if not, do your Super League thing. Form another subdivision.
Yeah, that's where I think they're headed.
But I just to really continue on the beauty pageant, but then act like everybody's in so you don't get sued. I just at this point, and then this is nobody's going to watch that. That response makes my eyes roll into the back of my head because nobody's going to watch it. No, the phrase "nobody's going to watch it" or "that'll do a terrible number" just tells me you're thinking like a business and not like a fan. And there's a line in the sand right now with college football media. Are you concerned about the sport, or are you concerned about what it looks like on a spreadsheet? I don't need to manufacture competitiveness. I don't need to manufacture the perfect helmet matchups. That's what got us to this broken place in the first place.
Right.
So I say the teams that win trophies, let them into the big tournament, just like high school, just like every other college sports. Like that can be it. We'll fill out with the rest of the at-larges, and chances are we'll still be able to field a proper national champion at the end of the day. The worst thing playoff expansion did was make all these 2-loss and 3-loss teams start acting like they're 2003 USC.
That is absolutely true.
It ain't 2003 USC.
Oh, man. This is why we talk to Chip Patterson every week. I'm sure there's other things to talk about. We'll pick it up again the Wednesday before Christmas. That's next Wednesday, sir. Are you done with your shopping yet?
Hold on. Today is the 10th.
Right.
Then it's the 17th, right?
Yes, but yes, you're right. I'm not
Wednesday before Christmas would be the 24th.
I'm not here the 24th.
I'm not here the 24th either. We're glad we've gotten that figured out.
I'll talk to you later. Thanks, man.
All right, sounds good. Y'all be well.
Chip Patterson, CBSSports.com, Cover 3 podcast. It really was. It was rip-roaring on Monday. All right, when we come back, we'll stretch. Bets will be placed. Did I win one yesterday? Actually, I didn't. I failed you. I've given you winners like 4 or 5 shows in a row. We'll get back on track tonight.
Asheville to Wilmington, Boone to Durham, The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Hello, I'm Steve Troxler, North Carolina Commissioner of Agriculture. Farming's tough, but you're not alone. That's why the North Carolina Agri-Medicine Institute offers the North Carolina Farm Helpline, a free 24/7 resource for the agriculture community. Long hours, difficult decisions, and unexpected challenges can add up. Whether you need to talk to a counselor who understands farming or help with finances, legal questions, or farm safety, call 844-325-3276. That's 844-325-3276, the North Carolina Farm Helpline, a free 24/7 resource for the agriculture community. 844-325-3276, because no one should face farm life alone.
Open enrollment for health insurance is here, but don't worry. North Carolina Farm Bureau Insurance has you covered for all your health insurance needs, including Medicare. And with offices in every county, a trusted, experienced agent is just around the corner, ready to help find a plan that's right for you. Visit ncfbins.com or stop by your local office today. North Carolina Farm Bureau Insurance. Helping you is what we do best.
As we wind down the high school football sports season and head into the holidays, the Governor's Highway Safety Program would like to remind you to buckle your seatbelt when traveling to and from athletic events. Wearing a seatbelt is your best defense against injury or death in a crash. Start the season off right and prioritize your safety by buckling up. Every seat, every time. Remember, click it or ticket. It's the law. This message is brought to you by the North Carolina High School Athletic Association and the Governor's Highway Safety Program.
Sometimes the simplest steps make the biggest difference. Washing your hands often, staying home when you're sick, and talking with your health provider about vaccines.
Help keep your family protected against the flu, RSV, and COVID. Simple steps, big protection.
Defend yourself. Get vaccinated to protect you and your family from respiratory illnesses this season. Visit myspot.nc.gov to find yours today.
Brought to you by the North Carolina Department of Health and Human Services.
North Carolina ranks second in the nation in potential agricultural land lost by the year 2040. The NC Forever Farms program supports the preservation of family farms through permanent agricultural conservation easements and has received a record number of applications for 3 straight years. Landowners interested in preserving their working farm through the Farmland Preservation Division of the North Carolina Department of Agriculture and Consumer Services can learn more by visiting ncadfp.org.
If you pay your city or town for electricity, you live in a public power community. Public power communities provide electricity to families and businesses from a locally owned and operated system. Public power systems are not-for-profit and provide electricity at affordable rates with unbeaten reliability. Your local public power provider invests in your community, providing local jobs and supporting your local economy. Electricities of North Carolina is the energy behind public power. Learn more at electricities.com.
With Steel, batteries are included. This holiday season, give a gift that's ready to go right out of the box. For everything from cleaning up the yard to cutting up firewood, Steel tools check off the wish list and knock out the to-do list. And right now, buy select battery tool sets and get a free extra battery. Visit SteelUSA.com for holiday deals and gift ideas. Happy holidays from Steel. Offer valid for a limited time only at participating dealers while supplies last.
Gold. Gold.
I told Jack in the car, you know what the word of the year is? He goes, what? I said it's 6-7. He just laughed.
I know.
It just means nothing. And that's fantastic that it's now the word of the year. What a country.
Can we bring back cool story, bro? That way, like, us millennials can be like, yeah, cool story, bro. I would love that.
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I'm Adam Gold. Max Gorin on the ones and twos. Is this still from your Spotify list?
No, these are just like random.
Okay, Are you through with your top 100 songs of 2025?
No, I mean I can play from that playlist if we want to.
Well,
in the next hour.
Why isn't Kool and the Gang on that?
I mean, I'm sure I listened to this song a few times this year. I just don't know if it was in the top 100. That's not up to me. It's up to the AI that put it together. So,
all right, lots to do next hour. And I'll say this right now because I talked to Elliot Johnson. He's a former big leaguer who lives here, Durham Bulls legend. And we talk a lot of baseball with Elliot all year. And he had said to me a couple of weeks ago, we got to do something during the winter meetings. Winter meetings are going on, and we are in the midst of free agent frenzy in baseball. And so we spoke earlier this morning prior to Pete Alonso signing with the Baltimore Orioles. So when we do bring you that interview, which I think is very good, we are talking about Alonso prior to him leaving the Mets, which will further infuriate me just listening to it. And I know that there are Mets fans out there who are just like, what are we doing? Anyway, that's next hour. Elliot Johnson will join us. All right, right now, it's time to stretch.
all right. So we don't have any of these in our area, or at least not yet. But have you ever heard of the driverless car, the Waymo?
I've heard of driverless cars. Yeah, I think, where were we? Where they were like city taxis. They might have been in Phoenix.
Well, yes. So there are Waymo self-driving taxis. They're in certain cities. I think a lot of them are out west, Phoenix, and another city that have them is San Francisco. Well, apparently, I don't know if this happened yesterday, but it was very recent. A woman actually gave birth in the back of a Waymo self-driving taxi. She was on her way to the University of California, San Francisco Medical Center on Monday when she delivered inside the robo-taxi. The company said the rider support team detected unusual activity inside the vehicle.
Sure.
Called to check on the rider as well as alert 911. I don't know how. It doesn't say how the car knew that something was amiss.
Well, there's got to be something monitoring it, right?
I clearly somehow. I don't know what would set that off, if there's a button that you can hit, but regardless, there's been some issues with the Waymos.
Mm-hmm.
There was one that pulled an illegal U-turn right in front of some police a few weeks ago, but they were not able.
Who did you give the ticket
Yeah,
to?
they couldn't give a ticket because there's no driver. But now it's a mobile delivery room for a woman in San Francisco. So
that's beautiful.
What a multifaceted company.
Does she
It's
name
amazing.
the child what, Waymo?
Waymo, yeah.
Waymo?
Maybe that should be the middle name. Jonathan Waymo Smith or something.
Nice. I love it.
Yeah, I mean, just that's what you want. Hopefully, it says they've taken it out of service for cleaning, obviously. I would not want to be the next rider. As soon as the car comes back, I'm sure it'll be clean, but
just Febreze.
It's a wild.
That's all you need is some Febreze.
It's a wild story. Driverless taxis. Welcome to the future. Amazing.
That is awesome.
All right. Now let's play some bets here
All
as
right.
we get to the end of the hour.
Place your bets, place your bets. Here we are. I bet you slice into the woods $100.
Gambling is illegal at Bushwood, sir, and I never slide.
Okay, you can owe me. I owe you nothing.
I don't think you're going to get a better story than that. It's a phenomenal story.
Imagine growing up and say, yeah, I was born in the back of a driverless taxi. I guess in the future they'll just say taxi, though.
I guess, yeah, because they'll all be driverless at that point. We're putting Uber out of business. That's, is what it is. All right, Max, go first.
All right, we got college basketball here in Raleigh tonight. NC State taking on Liberty at the Lenovo Center. Liberty's actually top 5 nationally in terms of three-pointers made per game and three-point percentage. So I think it's going to be a pretty high-scoring contest. I'm going to go with the over in this game, 151.5. That's just minus 110.
Oh, just doing the over?
Yep.
Okay. I'm not doing that game, but I think State's going to have to be emphatic about their win. Liberty has played nobody. Nobody. 2 of their wins are against non-Division I teams. We are going to start in the National Hockey League. Blackhawks hosting the Rangers tonight. Blackhawks plus money at home. Rangers have played much better, and they've been better on the road than at home. But I like the Blackhawks to win that game and give me, let's parlay it with Tyler Bertuzzi, anytime goal, plus 210. That gets us to plus 341.
I'm going to stay in the NHL as well, and I'm going to go with the Red Wings to defeat the Flames. This one's basically a pick-em. It's minus 110 either way, so a little bit of vig there. But I don't know why Detroit and Calgary even odds. Detroit's been up near the top of the Atlantic all season.
Yeah.
Calgary's one of the worst teams in the league.
Awful.
I will take the Red Wings minus 110.
All right, let's go to the National Football League. There are no games tonight in the NFL, but I've been telling you, we're going to do a future right now. Carolina Panthers are plus 230 to win the NFC South. Book it. Plus 230 to win the NFC South.
Yep.
Put it down right there. I got a couple of others I'm going to save for tomorrow. But Carolina to win the NFC South plus 230.
Last one, I've got a parlay. Erling Haaland, anytime goal scorer at Man City to win. This is on FanDuel, so it would be the 2-up early payout. So if they go up by 2 goals at any point, cashes that leg of it. That parlay together is plus 149.
See, I like the other way. I like Real at the Bernabeu at home. Get plus 190 at home.
The bias is involved for
plus,
sure.
Well, see, I always bet against Liverpool. Real plus 190. Rodrigo, anytime goal scorer, plus 260. Parlay those, it's plus 516. We're going to have a good night.
Because your fantasy football team needs all the help it can get, the Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
To 15-year-old Harper, buying an $80 vintage rock t-shirt is a great investment. To Harper's mom, this logic has a few holes in it. So she helped Harper open a Wells Fargo Clear Access banking account. With no overdraft fees and tools to track spending, Harper's learning, one heavy metal tee at a time. However you make money work, Wells Fargo can work with that.
Terms apply. Visit wellsfargo.com/deposit disclosures for fees and details.
Excuse me, garçon. I'll pick up the tab for the lady and I.
Sir, this is Monopoly money.
And there's more where that came from.
I'm calling the cops.
Don't waste your time. I have a get-out-of-jail-free card.
Start playing for real money. New Monopoly scratch-offs from the North Carolina Education Lottery have real cash wins of up to $1 million. Monopoly is a trademark of Hasbro. Must be 18 to play. Approximate overall odds of winning range from 1 in 3.83 to 4.28. Problem gambling helpline 877-718-5543.
If you've been diagnosed with moderate to severe plaque psoriasis, this is what it sounds like to be a million miles away. Imagine being a million miles away. Tremfya guselkumab, taken by injection, is a prescription medicine for adults with moderate to severe plaque psoriasis who may benefit from taking injections or pills or phototherapy. With Tremfya, clearer skin is possible. In clinical trials, at least 70% of patients saw at least 90% clearer skin at 16 weeks. Results may vary. Tremfya is also indicated for adults with active psoriatic arthritis. Serious allergic reactions and increased risk of infections and liver problems may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check you for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection, flu-like symptoms, or if you need a vaccine. Ask your doctor about Tremfya. Call 1-800-526-7736 or visit Tremfya.com.
It's bow time. 'Tis the season for food and family, but thanks to Bojangles, you don't have to spend hours in the kitchen when loved ones come home for the holidays. Set down the spatula and put away the mixing bowls, because this holiday season, Bojangles is ready to help you celebrate with all your family favorites like Chicken Supreme, Cajun Filet Biscuits, or a big bow box of hand-breaded chicken, scratch-made biscuits, and fixins for the whole family. We'll make the food so you can focus on making memories. Head to Bojangles and gift yourself a taste of home. It's bow time.
If it's ho-ho-ho time, it's Bo-Bo-Bo time. Time to order a party-sized platter of that bodacious Bojangles flavor before your next holiday celebration. Choose a Bojangles Supremes platter and get 50 whole breast tenderloin fillets. Or go with a Bojangles dessert platter and get 2 dozen Bo-Berry biscuits, 2 dozen cinnamon twists, or 1 dozen of each. It's a platter full of Bo-liciousness. And don't forget to pick up Bojangles gift cards. Just the right gift for anyone on your list. Hurry, it's Bo time.
Earth Justice is a national legal nonprofit fighting to protect people's health, to preserve magnificent places and wildlife, and to combat climate change. Visit us at earthjustice.org. Earth Justice, because the Earth needs a good lawyer.
At Target, great memories start with great prices.
Get gingerbread house kits for just $12, plus all the Wonder Shop baking must-haves. Gather the whole fam, grab some gingerbread kits, and start building sweet moments together. Then keep the joy rolling, baking up tasty treats with Wonder Shop that'll make the season a blast. Make unforgettable memories with incredible prices on gingerbread kits and Wonder Shop baking essentials. And step into the holidays, only at Target. Restrictions apply.
I'm attorney Brian Ritchie. Workers' comp can be tricky, but my law firm will be on top of all the complicated paperwork and sneaky deadlines so that all of your I's are dotted and T's are crossed. If you've been hurt on the job, I'm on top of it. Contact us at ritchielaw.com.
Broadcasting live from the Lenovo Studios. WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. 99.9 The Fan. The Triangle Sports Leader.
This is the Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
You know, Danny's at the game, and he's walking around during warm-ups. And Ohio State, during warm-ups, looks remarkably different to Indiana. But that team is well coached.
Oh, yeah.
They do their job, and they just were there. They got a good push. Anyway, so Indiana, Ohio State, Georgia, Oregon, if the wide receivers get healthy, and Texas Tech's defense. Not Texas Tech's offense, just Texas Tech's defense. That's why I said 4.5 teams can win the national title.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I am Adam Gold. Max Gorin producing the program. Victoria will be back tomorrow. Chip Patterson was correct. Next week is not the last Wednesday before Christmas. It's just the last Wednesday for me. Because next Friday we will be, we're still having shows. There will be various people filling in. I'm sure there will be best ofs sprinkled throughout the holiday season as people go about their business. But, and we'll talk about this next week with Chip. Because I think there is a legitimate conversation to be had about what the future of bowls are. They're not going to all go away. But I will bet you that we will have significant numbers of bowl games shift to preseason. And it makes sense. And it doesn't mean that necessarily a bowl game, but the sponsors that want to be part of bowl season. And honestly, most of these games are owned by ESPN. So when they own whatever bowl they own, and they own a lot of them, probably close to 20 of them, in terms of seeing teams opt out, players opt out, there's no reason for a player who fancies himself an NFL draftee. There's no reason to play a bowl game. None. And we know this. This is not debatable anymore. And it's not about, how come you're not a competitor or finish what you start. No, it's not that. It's a dumb, reckless business decision to play a meaningless football game in advance of the greatest job interview these people will ever have. It makes no sense. We have now we have teams, we have schools opting out. Iowa State, Kansas State, Notre Dame all opted out. They won't be the last. Heck, it wasn't the first time Notre Dame's done it. So with more teams opting out, look, we went all the way down to App State at 5-7 to find another bowl team. Hey, I've said this before. I don't care if you're winless. If you have an opportunity to play a bowl game and they can put enough people in the stands and put it on TV and everybody gets what they're supposed to out of the situation and the athletes get cool experience, rib eating contest, go to an amusement park, ride a roller coaster, whatever, put your head on a bat and spin around and see if you can, throw a dart. Whatever the bowl experience is. Coaches get to have 17 more practices. Actually, some of these schools are not. There's a bowl game Saturday? Actually, Friday, I think.
I know this. The Celebration Bowl is one of the early ones. I think that one is on Saturday, right?
No, we have. There are more. Hold on. We'll get them. I think we have a bowl game coming up on.
It's Army Navy this weekend as well.
Right. Saturday, Celebration Bowl. Also, the Bucked Up LA Bowl, Boise State, Washington, at 8 o'clock on Saturday. That's a bowl game. Troy, Jacksonville State is a bowl game. The IS4S Salute to Veterans Bowl. Oh, I'm sorry, that's Tuesday. But Saturday, we do have the Celebration Bowl. That's not unusual. The Bucked Up LA Bowl is Saturday as well. But then we've got bowl games Tuesday, Wednesday, the Staff DNA Cure Bowl. ODU in South Florida. Can't wait for that. The 68 Ventures Bowl. Louisiana and Delaware. Shouts to the Blue Hens. The fighting Blue Hens.
Tim Donnelly will be tuned in for sure.
Is he going? It's in Mobile. He could get there. It's Wednesday. What's Donnelly doing Wednesday?
6 o'clock. I don't know if he can make it after that.
It's an 8:30 start.
Maybe if he takes PTO.
Thursday, the Xbox Bowl.
They just made that one up like a few weeks ago.
The Xbox Bowl?
Yeah, because the Bahamas Bowl is not there this year due to like stadium renovations.
Okay.
So for the longest time, there was just like an unnamed college football bowl game on ESPN's schedule.
Nice.
And I guess they're having it in Frisco, and it's the Xbox Bowl.
Missouri State and Arkansas State. The Myrtle Beach Bowl. Kennesaw State and Western Michigan.
That's a nice vacation for those two teams right there.
What are you saying about Kennesaw State and Western Michigan? That is Myrtle Beach is a nice vacation for them.
It's just you get to go to a warm beach climate.
Do you think it's warm?
On a Friday.
You think it's warm at Myrtle Beach right now?
It's probably warmer than it is in Western Michigan.
Well, yes.
Kennesaw, debatable because that's in Georgia. But.
Right. I was actually just there. I drove past the campus this past weekend. Memphis and NC State in the Union Home Mortgage Gasparilla Bowl. It's in Tampa. Now it's warm there. All right, that was fun. There's a lot of bowl games.
That's just the first week of them.
Yeah, we haven't even gotten to Christmas yet. We have not even gotten to Christmas.
That NC State Memphis Gasparilla Bowl, that's like the direct lead up to the first CFP game, which is that night. There's not another game between that and Oklahoma versus Bama on that Friday night.
That is
next
right.
Friday.
Awesome. All right, let's I think we should do Wall of Sound.
The Wall of Sound is a function of this studio. There's no doubt about it.
All right. It's Brandon Bussey's world. We're all just living in it. Here's Rod Brindamore on his goaltender and the art of the timely save.
That's what goaltending really is about. I mean, it's you may have 50 shot a night, but there's always a couple that you remember, and maybe it's a 20 shot, but there's always a couple. There's just and then if you can, make them in crucial times, like I mentioned, it's a 1-0 game, and they had a couple in the second there. It could have been 2-0. Now it's a different game. So yeah, I think that's what goaltending really is about: is making them. You're supposed to make the ones you're supposed to make a couple that you're not supposed to make, but when you make them is, I think, real important too.
All right, here's Brandon Bussey on. It was 1-0 in favor of Columbus. Then it was 1-1 getting into the third period on the tight games.
You need to be comfortable in tight games. If you're asking would I rather have a bigger lead, I would rather have a bigger lead. But no, as a goalie, you need to be comfortable if you're down 3, up 3, tie game, 1-1 or 5-5, you need to be ready for the next save or moment because you never know what's going to happen.
He's been really, really good in tight games. Before this past, the start prior against Nashville, when his team absolutely fell asleep in front of him, and he allowed 3 goals, none of which he could do anything about. His third period save percentage before the Nashville game, I haven't done the math now, but the third period save percentage was .918. And again, the league average save percentage is .892. Imagine being .026 better than the league average just in the third period. when theoretically, because all these games are tight, that's where you decide whether you win or lose. By the way, going into the third period last night, I actually mentioned this when it was 1-1. Columbus, their worst period all year long has been the third period. In the first and second periods, they were plus goal differential. I think they were minus 12 or so in the third period going into the game last night, and they were minus 3 in the third period. Here's Seth Jarvis and his chemistry with Andrei Svechnikov.
Like you said, looking for a soft ice. I think seeing him kind of rumble around, I'm just trying to get lost, trying to get high in the zone, and then kind of creep into a spot. We've practiced that a ton, and I think me and him have really good chemistry when it comes to plays like that, so I knew he was going to find me, and it was just a matter of getting the puck on the net.
Max, we're 29 games in. We have not yet seen... Seth Jarvis has 17 goals, and you had done the math before. That is, he's on pace for 48. That would be awesome. But we haven't seen any of Carolina's best offensive players go on anything that resembles a scoring tear. Sebastian Aho hasn't done it yet. He's been good. Andrei Svechnikov, after taking the first 8 games off from producing points, has been good. Seth Jarvis the same way. None of them have gone on a tear.
Yeah, there's been a couple like decent point streaks that have gone on for various players, but I wouldn't say anything like taking over and like getting really hot. No, that can happen. Like I remember, I think maybe it was 2 seasons ago, Sebastian Aho had a short stretch where it was like 3 games he had like 11 points or something crazy like that.
It's longer than 3 games. He had 2 stretches 2 years ago, not last year, 2 years ago. He had 2 stretches where each 12 games long, 24 points in 12 games, 20 points in 12 games. 2 different ones. Carolina's record during those runs combined 17, 3, and 4. That's pretty good. Carolina would love one of those stretches. That's just Aho. 2 years ago, Andre had a 6-game stretch, 14 points in 6 games. We have seen none of that from their best offensive players. We have seen consistently good play, but we have not seen anything in which these players dominate for a stretch of time. All right, one more thing before we take a break. And this is still Rod Brindamore here. Because it was cool to watch the 2006 Stanley Cup champions interact and to be celebrated and to see the fans shower them with appreciation. And a lot of those guys apparently can still play a little bit. And here's Rod for just being excited to see his guys.
This whole couple of days have been, I don't know if I say I needed it, but it was like, it refreshed me in the sense that I kind of remember why we do this, you know? Like, it was like, we had 20 brothers I haven't seen for a while, but the minute, you know, we got together, why is that? It is because we won, you know, and that's what I want so desperately for the guys in there, because it is so special, and it's hard to really sum it up, but so, you know, it was just awesome to be around the guys. They were in the locker room kind of in the back, and we were hanging out. That was fun. Walking out there, to be honest with you, seeing Wes carry the cup was really cool, because I know how much that meant to him. I know I sat with that guy for so long, and, you know, he deserved that. And so that was really cool just to bring that. Watching the video, I know it gets old for some people, but it doesn't ever get old for us. We talked about that. That puts us right back in there, and God willing, I'll always have that kind of the memories, you know, and that's really what life's about, right? Creating those, and you have a good life, you got a bunch of good memories.
He had such a good time. It was awesome to watch that. So good for Rod. It was great to see a lot of those guys. And again, they look pretty good, man. It's a lot of. I think when we talked to Chad LaRose yesterday, he was, or maybe it was Cam Ward who said it, that everybody's in pretty good shape, right? A lot of times, you know, professional athletes, man, they work hard, and when you have achieved and you have, you know, your career is over, you've kind of earned the right to take a few days off But no, man, these guys look like they're in really good shape. We know the head coaches. I mean, it's a freak, right? Anyway, good for I'm glad everybody was able to get together. All right, I do have one more thing I want to hear. Because we talked to Chip Patterson about the playoff and all that. Mel Kiper Jr., whose job is really to scout players more than talk about college football and the mechanisms of it. But he has some thoughts about the playoff.
The issue is not Miami, Notre Dame. It's not the debate there of Alabama, who should be into those three. All three are deserving, especially over, and this is the problem. When they did this, they're not giving us the best 12. Why are you gifting group of fives? I respect what they've done. Love these kids for being there. Happy for them. But to say that JMU and Tulane deserve to be in over Notre Dame or Vanderbilt, Texas, 16. It's got to be. It's got to be a minimum of 16 teams. And the way I see it, if you want to put 30, 40 in, the Bulls are dinosaurs. We know that. So for me, change the system. They went to 12, but they didn't get it right. And college football never tends to as well. But they didn't get it right because it's not the best 12.
That is true. What Mel Kiper said is undeniable. But the reason why they have the best 5 champions and not just declare the champion of the SEC, Big 10, Big 12, ACC is because they don't want to get sued. I mean, that's the deal. I mean, go back to, remember the whole bowl championship series? We only had 1 versus 2. And we were never going to get a non-Power 5 at the time. We were never going to get a non-Power 5 team in the BCS title game, the 1 versus 2. But they basically promised a non-Power 5 team a spot. Why? To avoid a lawsuit. It's the only reason. Matter of fact, it was Tulane that brought the lawsuit back in the day. College football knows that it's basically a cartel. They know it. Everything they've done is to avoid legal action. So I get what Mel Kiper's saying. I'd be in favor of just give us the top 12. I've said that before. But I understand where Chip's coming from when we said before, expand to 16 and give all the conferences a spot. Here's what I think could happen if you go to 16 and you want to do something like that. I think they'll make all of those other conferences play in 2 spots. I think they will. They'll make the American play the MAC. They'll make the Mountain West play the Sun Belt.
It'll be kind of like the first 4 in the NCAA tournament.
And honestly, I can see it. I mean, the sport is governed. It's run by, I don't know. I don't want to be disparaging. It's the governance of the sport does not do the sport justice ever, and it falls grossly short, and that's too bad because it is the game of college football is great. It's not pretty because this football can't be, but the sport is great. The way the sport is run is the opposite of that. All right, Elliot Johnson on the winter meetings, on free agent signings, on the Hall of Fame where Jeff Kent goes in and Dale Murphy and Don Mattingly do not. And remember, this is prior to Pete Alonso signing with the Baltimore Orioles. Next.
Asheville to Wilmington, Boone to Durham, The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Listen every afternoon for The Drive with Tim Donnelly.
I think we can officially say the 8th overall pick for the Carolina Panthers was a success. Dan Morgan knew what he was doing. Teteroa McMillan only needed 1 catch to change the game against the Rams, and they need to continue to work to give him more opportunities to change the game in the future. He is a difference maker. They need him to make a difference.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 3 to 6 on 99.9 The Fan.
A lot of us in North Carolina saw snow this week, but you know you're never supposed to make snow cream with the first snow, so how about a White Russian? I'm Victoria Vodnecker here for Blue Shark Vodka, and that's just one of many tasty recipes you'll find on their website using the smoothest, cleanest vodka on the East Coast. And it's easy to pick out at the ABC store because the bottle has their signature shark swimming around inside, so maybe put a little shark in your eggnog this year while you sit by the fire. But you can find all of those recipes and where to find this collectible at BlueSharkVodka.com.
Here's Megan with Parkway Sleep Centers.
Are sleepless nights affecting your life? Parkway Sleep Health Centers can help. We've treated sleep disorders in the Triangle and beyond for over 20 years. We offer sleep studies, office visits, CPAP machines, supplies, and more. And our streamlined process allows us to see you sooner and usually saves hundreds of dollars.
End sleep problems. Live your best life. Experience the Parkway Sleep difference. Visit parkwaysleep.com and start your journey to better sleep today. Parkway Sleep Health Centers. Sound sleep. Sound health.
Hi, I'm Marcy Bailey from Bailey's Fine Jewelry. This holiday season, why not give a gift that truly shines? At Bailey's, we believe in making every moment special, and our carefully curated selection of fine jewelry is sure to bring joy to your loved ones. From stunning diamonds to designer jewelry and luxury watches, we have the perfect gift for everyone on your list. Gift the magic of a Bailey box and make this Christmas unforgettable. Visit us today in Raleigh, Cary, Rocky Mount, Greenville, and Charlotte. Bailey's Fine Jewelry. Every woman wants a Bailey box under the tree.
The best financial move you can make this time of year? How about lowering your mortgage rates to 4.99% fixed APR, the lowest rates in years? How about getting up to $500,000 out of your home equity in the process? You can do it now by calling Loan Pronto. Hey, it's Dennis Cox. With Loan Pronto's Rapid Equity Loan, you can get a ton of cash, pay off all those high-interest credit cards, and skip up to 2 house payments. One homeowner just got $300,000 approved in under 24 hours, wiped out their credit cards and 2 car loans, and saved $2,100 a month. Don't wait. No hard credit pull up front, and you probably won't even need an appraisal. Just fast, easy cash from your home's equity. Act now. Call 919-381-1760 or visit loanpronto.com. Start the new year by wiping out all higher interest debt and lowering your bills by thousands. Call 919-381-1760 and see how much cash you can get today. Loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 166171, APR for well-qualified buyers. Visit NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
When building clients come knocking, open the door to the best products and service at Commercial Openings, your one-stop shop for everything commercial swinging doors and door hardware. Commercial Openings has over 2,000 doors in stock, and we have on-staff consultants to help you pick the right doors and hardware for your project. We also stock bathroom partitions and accessories such as grab bars and mirrors. Come see our showroom at 3904 Capitol Boulevard in Raleigh, or see our impressive inventory at commercialopenings.com.
Nugget bells, nuggets all the way.
Hi, I'm Kylie.
I'm John.
And I'm Garrison. And a little thing we love about the 30-count Chick-fil-A nuggets
is sharing them when we cut down the Christmas tree.
We will pack the car with gifts, and of course, we go and pick up our family's favorite nuggets.
Every nugget is tasty times quadrillion.
And we get all the sides.
Yeah, the ooey gooey mac and cheese is a big hit.
Share the nuggets, share the joy. Order the 30-count Chick-fil-A nuggets on the Chick-fil-A app. Real guests paid for their testimonials.
This is Adam Gold.
So Mike Vrabel, the coach of the New England Patriots, they asked him about birthday cake, and he said there was only one cake qualified for his birthday cake.
Oh.
Yes.
Okay.
You want to guess what that is?
Is it vanilla?
No.
Oh.
Carrot.
I love him even more.
The Adam Gold Show.
Baseball's winter meetings are ongoing. Very exciting stuff. I assume the Mets are paying attention to them. I don't know. As a Mets fan, it's been already a very disappointing winter meetings. Elliot Johnson joining us, big league expert, all of that, and a follower of all of this news. Can you talk me off the ledge? I thought I had a good general manager in David Stearns. What exactly is the plan, do you think, allowing Edwin Diaz to walk to the Dodgers?
Oof, it hurts. So I'll say this: he is smart. He's good. Okay, Adam. So I mean, I'll rest assured with Mets fans that he's really good at what he does. The problem is he's still used to operating in Milwaukee as a small market team, and he's probably being too, what's the word, value oriented versus
cheap. Just say it.
Understanding and versus understanding that Uncle Steve he's good with it. So, like, Andrew Friedman, who signed away Diaz, I know,
right.
It stings right now. He's got a very famous quote that all your listeners can research, that if you try to be reasonable in free agency, you'll come in second every single time.
Absolutely.
So getting outbid by $3 million, and think about it, from his standpoint, as a player's standpoint, it's always easier to stick with the team that you've been with because it's familiar, everyone. You probably have a place, somewhere near Citi Field. You probably have a place near the complex in Florida. And, him being a Latin guy, being close to Miami is more advantageous to get home. And the culture is not as stark, okay? So there's a lot of familiar, easy things. So what happens is the real reason why he left, it wasn't really as much the dollars, and we can talk about Devin Williams too, but it's mostly because the Dodgers probably have the highest probability of winning the World Series again next year, and he probably wants to be a part of that. So that's ultimately why he left. But the Mets could have been a little bit more aggressive in making sure they stayed, and they could have if they wanted him, but they chose to let him walk, and here we are.
They could have gotten both, and that's the thing. We just finished a year, and I hate to make this all about the Mets, but I've told this to people, Elliot. Sometimes I do the show for me, and we just have to suck it up. So last year, the number one pitching problem, Mets had starting pitching problems too. But by the end, it was their bullpen that continuously let them down. Blow leads, all of that. They could have had Devin Williams. They just had to wait until after they secured Edwin Diaz. Go out, make sure Diaz is yours, and then add Devin Williams to be the setup guy. He might be better suited to that anyway, but now you're relying on somebody who was so bad last year for huge stretches of it, that who knows if he's ever going to be a good closer again. He was at one point with Milwaukee, but that's a different animal than it is for the New York Mets. I just think they made a miscalculation here.
Yeah, I think you're right. So the timing is important, but likely the acquisition of Devin, probably his market was a little bit different. So, but you're right. The messaging could have been better, all those different things. Diaz sending that out. You're still the guy. So I actually don't think the Devin Williams thing was as important. I think it was mostly, it was just kind of a reason for him to make it easier with the fans on why he left. But ultimately, he wanted to go where he felt he had a better chance to win a World Series. And I know that hurts for Mets fans, but the Dodgers are who they are.
They are. There's no doubt about it. All right, well, one more thing with the Mets. There were rumors that they were going to be on Kyle Schwarber. We're going to talk about that contract in a minute. But they still have to make a decision on Pete Alonso. He did them a solid last year, agreeing to a one-year deal. He completely balled out. I would argue he had maybe his best season as a Met when you factor in everything. The fact that he wasn't hitting 200, he was still a run-producing, home run-hitting machine. He's a Met. What would be the hang-up on bringing Pete Alonso back other than he's not super young anymore, and he's at best just an okay first baseman?
Well, he started out really good last year, though, didn't he? Good grief. He had a great year.
He had a great year. He deserves to come back.
Yeah, he did. He really did great. I'll give him credit. His agent's doing a great job of putting these opt-outs in. I feel like we talk about this every single year, but he's been an all-star for the last 4 years in a row. The market isn't really all that deep at first base, and I think that every year his agent is just trying to drum up an auction all the time to see if they can add an extra year. So, they're doing their job right, and really Uncle Steve comes through, but they end up being late, and he's probably going to end up back there because you see Schwarber's already gone. There's not really a lot of competition at the position. And there's not really, there's going to be some need, but there's not going to be very many teams that are willing to pay what it's going to cost to get Alonso. So I wouldn't be too worked up about it. He'll probably end up back there, but they're going to probably add in all the opt-outs, and we'll probably be talking about this again next year.
I'm fine. Pete Alonso should be a Met. They've already traded away one longtime Met in Brandon Nimmo for Marcus Semien. I have no idea if that's a good trade or not. But trading away your players, the guys you developed, I always think that's a bad idea unless they're done. and Pete Alonso arguably had his best year with the Mets this past season. What do you make of Kyle Schwarber getting $30 million as a DH? I mean, he's a masher, and maybe he finally found a home where, he can just be who he is in Philadelphia. It seems like a good fit to me.
Well, yeah. I mean, they love him. They love his leadership. They love his presence. So nobody's going to say anything bad about Schwarber. Andy's an IU guy, and obviously IU on top of the world right now.
Right.
So they can savor that for a little while. But I think they really like having him around. I mean, he strikes out a ton, of course, but he really tires pitchers out. So even if he strikes out, it's still kind of a quote unquote productive at bat, Adam. He's a threat every single time. I don't know how many guys. I think he's one of the handful of guys that I think hit 40 home runs, 50 home runs, and walked as many times as he did last year. Mm-hmm. There was a stat that came out that he's really productive, and in today's analytic game, he's really good. The problem is he just doesn't really do anything other than hit home runs, strike out, and walk. But credit to him for still being really, really productive. And then, of course, he was pretty close on the MVP for last year. So, what's interesting is him and Alonso, your best ability is availability. Both of them played 162 games last year, Adam. Yep. I think that's one of the most impressive things for, at the end of the year, you're productive because you're in the lineup all the time. So it tells me that both those guys take care of their bodies.
Elliot Johnson is joining us here on the Adam Gold Show. Any other overriding thoughts about what's going on at winter meetings right now? Are you in any way worried that we are going to have a work stoppage coming up in a year or so?
Yeah, I think everybody pretty much gets the sense that there's going to be one, Adam, as much as I don't want there to be one. But what happens is, and this is what, because most media folks that people consume are basically just propaganda machines for teams.
Right.
They're going to claim that it's whatever, salary cap or whatever it is. We need more competitive balance, which is a bunch of garbage. Okay. Right. There's a salary cap in the NFL, and the Chiefs have been to the Super Bowl the last 5 years in a row. Okay. I hate to really disappoint people with facts, but that logic is sound. And outside of the Dodgers winning the last 2 years, it's been a different winner up until the Dodgers won 6 years ago. So It's not like it's out of control in any way, shape, or form. Really, what's out of control is the Dodgers are smart enough to utilize the CBA. They can change it without there being a work stoppage,
right.
But the owners are smart and they know what they're doing. And what they're going to do is they're going to claim that there's too much going to players, which is a bunch of crap. They're going to claim that it's about that. Really what it's about is preventing the Dodgers and the Mets from being runaway with spending, while the other owners don't want to spend that much money on their players. The Pirates, the Marlins of the world that don't want to do it. So it's really a small market versus large market. Really is what's going to facilitate it, but they're going to drag the players into it just to try and squeeze them because, they know that it's worked in the past and it'll work again this year.
The truth of the matter is all of these work stoppages are always about management versus management. It's not management versus labor. I've been saying this for, 30, 40 years, going back to the old debates about baseball's work stoppages. I don't think we're going to have a work stoppage because we're only going to be 1 year into the brand new television contracts, and I think that nobody wants to shut the game down. I think they'll figure out a way through. I think that might be increased revenue share, but here's the thing, because I saw the list on Forbes. The Mets and the Dodgers basically invest a lot of their revenues back into their roster, and almost all of the other teams don't. It's a much lower percentage. The Mets were about 75% of their team revenues went back to player salaries. The Dodgers were lower than that. They were about 50%. But most of the other teams are in the 25 to 35% range. And if you just invested in your team, like the Pirates, I saw the story where the Pirates said that we might spend $30 or $40 million in free agency. You should be spending $130 million in free agency. You should invest. You've got Paul Skeens. You have a chance. Well, you have that ace. You have a chance to win. You should invest in that, but the teams like the Pirates don't.
They can win if they want. I saw a tweet that showed that every team could have paid Edwin Diaz the $69 million he wanted, and it wouldn't have been a big deal. They just choose not to. And that's really what fans need to get a hold of, is all the teams could if they wanted to, and they choose not to. So I think one of the things that you and I have always agreed on is like the Shohei Ohtani deal. Every team could have afforded that. Every single one. But they choose not to.
I had an argument with an Orioles fan. He goes, well, we can't afford him. I'm like, you tell him that's a free contract. He pays for himself. Actually, you would. The Dodgers are making money off of Shohei Ohtani. Of course, what I do think should happen is that we should get rid of the deferred payments, because that allows teams. That'll be the next CBA. The Dodgers will not be allowed to do that. No teams will be allowed to do that in the next CBA. We should get rid of the deferred payments, because it lowers the luxury tax penalty for signing Ohtani to some contract like that, and the Dodgers have done it a lot. Let me ask you real quick before I have to say goodbye to Elliot Johnson. The Contemporary Era Committee elected Jeff Kent to the Hall of Fame. And I don't want to make this that I don't believe Jeff Kent is a Hall of Famer, even though I don't really believe Jeff Kent's a Hall of Famer, but that doesn't mean I don't think he was a great ball player. What I can't understand is that on the same Contemporary Era ballot was Dale Murphy and Don Mattingly. And that committee went Jeff Kent over those two guys who, in my opinion, were significantly better players. Thoughts?
You think significantly better? I don't know if I would use significantly. I mean, here's what I've got. For me, like, Jeff Kent was a great baseball player. I really don't have any problem with him being in the Hall of Fame. Okay. I think that Dale Murphy's resume is fantastic, being a 2-time MVP, 5-time Gold Glove winner, 4-time Silver Slugger, 7-time All-Star, and his 87 season was better than any single season that Jeff Kent had. So, like, he's got a resume that I think merits him being in. Yeah. I don't know why they just don't really value him. I think the first thing that you look at is that his batting average was 265. Right. And that era, batting average was still such a big deal versus Kent's being 290 lifetime. So I think that's ultimately what they're looking at. But when you let in other guys that have so much lower numbers overall and a worse resume, I don't get it. So to me, I think Kent's in. You got to have Murphy in. I don't know why Mattingly's not in. Right. I don't get it. MVP, 9-time Gold Glove, 3-time Silver Slugger, 6-time All-Star. His career batting average over 300. So to me, I think Mattingly deserves to be in. He's been great in the game. Post playing, I know that shouldn't really matter, because to me, I liked. Back when I would have this conversation with you about Pete Rose was separating what he did as a manager versus player. And so I don't really like the player versus manager type thing, but Mattingly, he's been a great steward of the game. So resume wise, I think that Mattingly deserves to be in too.
Here's and this is a Met fan arguing in favor of an Atlanta Brave. For about 8 years, Dale Murphy was the best player in the sport. Jeff Kent was never. Jeff Kent wasn't even the best player on his own team. Of course, he played on a team that had Barry Bonds. So,
So I even looked at that, how many intentional walks he had versus Murphy. Murphy had way more, right? Right. But I was like, well, but Barry Bonds hit after him. Right. Yeah, no. So it's like, all right. Yeah, that's fair. So, Barry Bonds is probably the best player we've ever seen.
Oh, there's no doubt. Somebody, when I said it was a travesty, somebody responded that it's a real travesty that Bonds is not in the Hall of Fame. Wow. And, like, I get it. As in terms of what he was as a ball player, I understand why somebody would say that. But considering the damage he helped do to baseball's reputation and the sport was complicit in it, I am not absolving them of blame. I have a hard time having any empathy for Barry Bonds not being in the Hall. Same with Roger Clemens and guys like that.
Sure. Well, so I mean, not I don't take anything that A-Rod says seriously. He was crying, about
because he knows.
Well, yeah, but I mean, and AJ Przinsky had some interesting points on that. We can talk about that another time. But really, I think for me, having Bud Selig is the annoying thing, because he oversaw the game and he was complicit in cheating on the the collusion case against one of my favorite players, Andre Dawson. So why does he get in knowing that he's a full-blown cheater himself, and he's also complicit in the entire era that is now that we're not allowing these guys in. So that hypocrisy gets under my skin. But going back to Jeff Kent and Dale Murphy is like one of the nicest people in the world.
Yeah.
And then here's something I want you and your listeners to think about on Jeff Kent. Have you ever, especially for a guy that made, almost $90 million in career earnings, can you ever picture washing your own truck? I just can't do it. So I'm not really a big believer in that whole thing when he tore his ACL. I'm just not buying it.
I knew that was coming up, and I'm glad you brought it up because that was always a lie. Elliot Johnson, you're the best, man. I appreciate your time.
Thanks, Adam.
Yeah, if for people who don't know the story, it was in the offseason, Kent claimed to have been washing his truck when he fell off the bumper and tore his ACL, but I think he was doing something like riding a dune buggy or something of that, or doing an off-season activity that would have cost him money in his contract. So they made up a story that he was washing his truck, which was not against the rules of his contract. Anyway, look, whenever you have these discussions, and I'm going to break here, but whenever you have these discussions about this guy belongs in the Hall of Fame, this guy doesn't, blah, 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 you run the risk of making it sound like the other guy wasn't great. Nobody is saying that Jeff Kent wasn't an excellent ball player. I don't believe he's Hall of Fame level, but it doesn't really matter. He was certainly in the conversation, which is in and of itself amazing. But at some point, the people in that room have to go, all right, who's a Hall of Famer, Jeff Kent or Dale Murphy? I don't even understand how Kent got like 10 votes and Murphy got 6. Or Mattingly just gets 6. I don't understand. It's like we watch different games. Anyway, let's take a break. We'll come back. Still plenty to do. We'll have a rewind. We'll talk a little college football. Max Gorin is sitting in for Victoria. I'm Adam Gold. We have a little Canes conversation as well. Who's the goalie tomorrow night? Could it be? Are we boarding the bus again? Next.
Delivering more hits than the Canes forecheck.
He scores!
The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Hello, I'm Steve Troxler, North Carolina Commissioner of Agriculture. Farming's tough, but you're not alone. That's why the North Carolina Agri-Medicine Institute offers the North Carolina Farm Helpline, a free 24/7 resource for the agriculture community. Long hours, difficult decisions, and unexpected challenges can add up. Whether you need to talk to a counselor who understands farming or help with finances, legal questions, or farm safety, call 844-325-3276. That's 844-325-3276, the North Carolina Farm Helpline, a free 24/7 resource for the agriculture community. 844-325-3276, because no one should face farm life alone.
As we wind down the high school football sports season and head into the holidays, the Governor's Highway Safety Program would like to remind you to buckle your seatbelt when traveling to and from athletic events. Wearing a seatbelt is your best defense against injury or death in a crash. Start the season off right and prioritize your safety by buckling up. Every seat, every time. Remember, click it or ticket. It's the law. This message is brought to you by the North Carolina High School Athletic Association and the Governor's Highway Safety Program.
Open enrollment for health insurance is here, but don't worry. North Carolina Farm Bureau Insurance has you covered for all your health insurance needs, including Medicare. And with offices in every county, a trusted, experienced agent is just around the corner, ready to help find a plan that's right for you.
Visit ncfbins.com
or stop by your local office today. North Carolina Farm Bureau Insurance. Helping you is what we do best.
Adam Gold here for my friends at FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook, and your home for same-game parlays, points and rebounds, threes, assists, money lines, totals, all of it. FanDuel is your home, and new customers can get $150 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins, and that one does not have to be a same-game parlay. We're trying to give you $150 of FanDuel's money, people, so don't look a gift parlay in the mouth. FanDuel.com/AGS. FanDuel.com/AGS. FanDuel, official sports betting partner of the NBA.
21 and over and present in North Carolina. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonuses issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets, which expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov.
I had questions about my child's vaccines, so I got real answers from her doctor because we share the same goal, keeping her healthy and strong. Her doctor told me that keeping up with childhood vaccines, getting them at the recommended ages and sometimes together, is a proven way to protect her from serious illnesses, ones that can be prevented with vaccines. Have questions? Get real answers. Talk to your doctor. Visit vaccinesforkids.nc.gov. Paid for by NCDHHS.
North Carolina ranks second in the nation in potential agricultural land lost by the year 2040. The NC Forever Farms program supports the preservation of family farms through permanent agricultural conservation easements and has received a record number of applications for 3 straight years. Landowners interested in preserving their working farm through the Farmland Preservation Division of the North Carolina Department of Agriculture and Consumer Services can learn more by visiting ncadfp.org.
One Adam Gold. One Adam Gold.
Person in front of me in line had a box of wine.
Oh, yeah. I'd feel that person. If you were buying boxed wine on a Friday, that thing is open right now.
In the car.
Yeah. I don't even need it to cool down.
She jammed a big straw right through the top of the box
yeah,
in the
went
car.
to the gas station to get a cup of ice. Like, they don't even care.
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I'm Adam Gold. Max Gorin playing all the hits from the 80s. Shouts to Mark the Shark from Blue Shark Vodka. They just stopped by. He left me a gift. They're apparently 2 little sharks in glass bottles inside the bottle of vodka. 5th anniversary. You call it a brew?
I don't know if that's what you'd call it, if it was vodka.
It's not a brew.
Concoction or spirits?
It's just distiller. I don't know.
I'd say spirit.
Yeah. So that's it. First of all, it's a gorgeous bottle. Maybe we'll open it later. Not like here, because I don't think we could do that. Plus, you're not legal.
I'm 24 years old,
kidding.
man.
I was kidding.
Come on.
What is your Spotify age? 63?
63 on Spotify, yeah.
That is the greatest. That is absolutely the greatest.
It's far from the oldest one in my group of peers, I'll say that.
Really?
Yeah. I saw plenty of more 66s, 67s, couple in the 70s.
What are you like? What are your friends listening to?
I guess some people are listening to a lot of 60s music and
It's
stuff. 'Cause
fun.
I'm not really, but
Beach Boys?
I guess, yeah.
Yeah?
I mean, I guess I like Beach Boys, yeah.
You like the Beach Boys? See, I'm not a Beach Boys fan. I'm not a Beach Boys fan. When it comes up on like, if I do Apple Music or I don't really do Pandora anymore, I'll fast forward it. I don't want it. I have no interest in the Beach Boys. Mark the Shark, thank you very much. Appreciate you, and Merry Christmas. Thank you very much. Merry Christmas to you. All right, you and I were talking earlier offline about the Panthers, and we put in a bet. Panthers plus 230 to win the NFC South. I believe they're going to do it. I don't know if I've convinced myself that this is going to be the case. The way they beat the Rams, to me, is repeatable. The way they beat the Packers is not. Right? And in fact, they tried to beat the Saints the same way they beat the Packers, and we saw what happened. They're relatively healthy, right? At this stage of the season, most teams are not. The Panthers might be about as healthy as any team in the league right now. They have their 3 best wide receivers, right? McMillan, Leggett, Coker, all healthy. Tight ends are relatively healthy. They're not awesome, but the tight ends are relatively healthy. You got both running backs still. You actually have all 3 if you count Etienne. The offensive line has gone through some bumps and bruises, but for the most part, it's intact. Defensively, by the way, you asked me a question earlier about Panthers making the Pro Bowl, and I don't know why I left out Derek Brown. But yes, Brown should be.
Derek Brown's getting a lot of like dark horse, like low key defensive player of the year.
Oh,
hype,
okay.
Where if he didn't play for the Panthers, he'd probably be higher up.
He's an amazing player.
But I know there are some media members, like I know Kay Adams was really caping for Derek Brown as a Defensive Player of the Year candidate. And I agree, because he's a cornerstone of a defense that turned around from being like one of the worst ever last year. He was out, and he comes back in, and now not only are they just serviceable, but in a lot of games they've actually been like very good and been the reason why the Panthers have been able to win as many games as they have.
Yeah, and even on the defensive line, they have stayed relatively healthy, right? You know, you still have
Bobby Brown is the only real like injury, like long-term injury that
you still
has
have
occurred,
Wharton,
right?
you still have Robinson. Your edge rushers are for the most part intact. You've overcome some injuries in the middle of your of the linebacking core. You still have Horn and Jackson, the safeties. As long as it was Morrig. Trayvon was out because he got suspended for a game, which he deserved. But they're relatively healthy. And if you're healthy at this time of the year, you got an edge. So if they win Sunday in New Orleans, if the Falcons beat the Buccaneers tomorrow night, and Carolina beats Tampa in week 16.
Yep.
What is the status of the division at that point? I know there are tiebreakers that would be in play. Max, you did the research.
Yes. So if the Falcons win on Thursday and the Panthers beat the Saints on Sunday, that would mean if the Panthers win next Sunday against the Bucs, they would already clinch the NFC South title with 2 weeks left to play because of division record.
Even though they would be two games ahead with 2 games to play and another game against the Buccaneers.
Yes, because in that case, the Buccaneers, the best they could do is 9-8, and the worst the Panthers could do is 9-8. And at that point, the Panthers would have already have clinched 4 wins in the division. And because the Buccaneers would have lost this week to Atlanta, that means the maximum amount of division wins, even if they beat the Panthers in Week 18, would be 3. So they would not be able to win that tiebreaker, and therefore the Panthers would have clinched the NFC South in Week 16.
That is awesome. We're not going to have time to do top 5, bottom 5 today. We'll do it tomorrow. Who do you think the best team is in the NFL?
Best team in the NFL? Probably it's somebody in the NFC. I'm not super convinced.
I'm not sure the best 5 teams in the NFL aren't all in the NFC.
Yeah, when you were talking to Brooke Pryor, I think that it was kind of in agreement that it seems like nobody really wants to win the AFC.
Right.
In the NFC, there's a couple contenders. I think I would go with. I think it's got to be someone out of the NFC West, but I don't know if I can say the Rams are the best team if they just came to Charlotte and lost to the Panthers, and that's no disrespect to the Panthers. But other teams are able to take care of business. I really like the Seahawks.
I do too.
I don't know if Sam Darnold as your playoff quarterback is going to be enough for you to be the best team. And I'll say kind of a surprising one. I actually think the Lions are a lot better than they get credit for, or better than their record says, at least.
I agree with you. The Lions defense has not been great. Their offense has been a little bit too all over the place, but the defense has not been as good as it needs to be. The Lions still have to make the playoffs. Here's the interesting thing.
They have a big game at the Rams this week, too.
Here's the interesting thing about those 2 divisions, the NFC North and the NFC West. Right now, one of those top 6 teams, top 3 in each division, Rams, Seahawks, 49ers, Packers, Bears, Lions. One of those teams is not making the playoffs. That's amazing to me.
At least one.
Because I would argue that those 6 teams are better than any team in any other division. The 2 division winners, better than the Eagles, better than the Panthers when they win the South. The top 6 teams, I actually think the Bears are going to get aced out.
Oh, 100%. Like,
Right.
out of those teams, they're the one 100% I see. Like, they have still a couple, really just have one easy game, and it's not that easy. They're playing the Browns this week, and it's supposed to be like -20 with wind chill in Chicago for that game. And so defense is going to be a big factor, and the Browns defense is better than the Bears defense.
Browns defense is absolutely incredible. So here's who I think is ultimate. I think the Rams are the best team. I know the Rams just lost to the Panthers, but I think the Rams are the best team in the NFL. And I think the Seahawks are great, but I'm not sure that the 49ers aren't going to win that division.
Yeah, they're so good, but they are always riddled with injuries.
And they have been, but they have Brock Purdy back. They're as healthy as they could possibly be at receiver.
And
they've got
McCaffrey's healthy,
McCaffrey.
which is big.
Offensive line isn't terribly banged up. So at plus, by the way, still looking at it from a value standpoint, plus 650 right now for the 49ers to win that division. But Panthers at plus 230. I think the Houston Texans are going to win the AFC South. I think Texans are going to come all the way back and win that division. Max Gorin, thank you very much. Appreciate everybody hanging out. Victoria back tomorrow. Me too. Bye.
Delivering more hits than the Canes forecheck.
Shoot! Score!